next year, man, things are going to be worse than what they are right now.
Yeah, because the energy cost, man, is very detrimental to production. Yeah. A lot of our factories are already struggling because these certain injuries are very energy intensive, and they got small margins. So when the prices are going up 50%, 100%, that could be the difference between having nice running. That could be the difference between running your factory and closing down. And many factories are already closing down. In Germany and across everywhere, and we still got the situation with the food production being decimated. Let's get some scriptures on that, man. It's the time we're in.
Right. Is Ephesians 5:15 says, "See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the times, because the days are evil."
That's right, because guess what? This ain't normal time. These times are unprecedented. I ain't that old, but I'm pretty sure that throughout my lifespan, there's never been nothing like this. This is a lot that's been happening. There's so much happening on like a daily basis, weekly basis, that you kind of forget some of the stuff that's already happened. Like, look what's happened in literally the last, 2-3 weeks. So many events, man. So many
It's week by week. Yeah?
Week by
Before
week.
it used to be like a yearly thing. You wait for like a couple of months, something else happen. But now it's like every other week something's happening. You get earthquake here. We had like 3 earthquakes in a matter of 3 weeks. Yeah. Over there in South America and all that, Lord's hitting up the tribes, the northern tribes, all these horrific earthquakes, hurricanes. The Lord's making moves, man. The Lord's not waiting no more. He's visiting the earth, which he made, man. He said this was going to happen at the end.
I mean, it's a collective thing, man.
Yeah.
It's not isolated incidences that happen over there or happen over here. The whole world is experiencing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? Because this judgment is a global judgment. And we know America is going to get fully destroyed. We know this. But in terms of judgment, all the heathen are getting judged. Right? So all these places, all these kingdoms, these rulerships, and that, they're getting brought down. Right? That's why you got protests everywhere. It's all crumbling from the inside, man. And obviously, there's other external factors that are happening as well. That are bringing this place down to the ground. They're trying to make you feel like, oh, we got things under control. But they haven't, not really. Even though in their mind, Esau believes he's got these things under control, demolition, because he wants to rebuild off it. The order Akeo philosophy, right? That's what he wants to do, but it's not in his power, it's not in his control, really. The Most High is really doing this, and it's sticking. It's sticking, it's not going to be built back up. That's what's going to go against Esau's plans.
I've got something. 2nd Ezra 6:20, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I shew these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall all see together, and they shall see all together. And that's like now. The books are open. We got the prophecies, we got the understanding, the interpretation, the right interpretation, the MOT to the B being the chip, which other camps that are, fading away from it. They're going to have to deal with that, man. IUIC, all these camps that don't want to deal with the MOT to the B, being the chip and all that, they're going to have to deal with that.
They're performing damage control right now, man, because they're looking stupid.
But that goes into being circumspect, because, great millstone, man, it's not to brag, to boast. We can only boast in the spirit, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. But I know which camp, I didn't hear no other camp talking about CBDC. There weren't no camp when we were there in them algorithms and all that from years ago. It broke it down. CBDC, social credit system. And now everyone else is catching up. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what's going on. Because guess what? Since we spoke about it, it's just become more and more. They're talking about it more and more.
It's manifesting. It's not our word at the end of the day. These things are manifesting because these are what the scriptures are laying out. This is the understanding of these scriptures. The things that are getting put in place, Esau's devices that the Most High has got him doing.
Yep.
You
got the Federal Reserve, they're coming out talking about it. Biden talking about it. Fucking the IMF. So all the top institutions in the world, they're all talking about these CBDC. And then it's just coincidentally we're having these currency crises.
But he's the same guy that laughing about martial law. So what do they expect? You know what I'm saying? They're not really been on point this whole time. They're always playing catch up.
Yeah, and what do these guys got to say? Because they were trying to encourage Jake to take the the thing. Yeah, and then now you see the information coming out with all the people that's dropping dead and having all these side effects, man. You know, why would you encourage your people to take poison? Now the Bible does say that you get bit by serpents and live, and you drink something deadly and live. But then Yahweh Shai himself said, tempt not the Lord thy God. So if you know that something is poisonous, like that which we knew, we're not going to encourage our people to take that, man.
Taking it from the enemy.
But they were basically running the government program.
Yeah, man.
They were pushing the government line, and then now you see that out of nowhere, it's like instead of coming out and just, okay, boom, we were wrong. The information is there. The MOTB is the implantable RFID chip. These brothers from Great Millstone, they had it right. They were breaking it down the right way. We were chatting breeze about embargoes. Now it's like they want to run damage control,
Right,
to get people to take it anyway. So it's almost like their doctrine is set up to get people to take it. Because now it's like, well, you can take it and repent.
Yeah.
And then it's not. Don't think it's anything new, because this guy General Yohana, one of the brothers, I can't remember where he's from. I remember specifically one of the brothers called up General Yohana's show and asked him about the Chizak. And General Yohana said, "Oh well, if you got to take a Chizak to eat, then that's what you're gonna have to do." He blatantly said on his channel that if you got to take a Chizak to eat,
you want to eat, don't you?
remember, you must remember that, yeah? You got the clip?
got the clip.
Hey, if anyone's got a clip, you must send that to me.
Yeah.
But this is why you need to understand the scriptures, man. You need to understand the history, because that sounds like the same type of character, same type of dude back in the wilderness, right? That was complaining to Moses about food and shit.
Yeah, around all them the degenerate leaders, man.
Right, but
And they got destroyed.
that's right. But what did the Lord do? The Lord provided food.
The Lord said that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word which proceedeth out the mouth of the heavenly Father.
That's right.
So why would you? Basically, if we know Esau is going to put pressure on, that's the hour of temptation, and part of that pressure is going to be, towards water and food and certain services and things like that that the system provides. Why would you encourage people to basically sell out? Because when you're taking that chip, give Revelations 14 and 9 real quick. When you're taking that MOTB, right, you're basically worshiping the beast. You're bowing down.
Yourself, yeah.
It's an act of idolatry.
Mhm.
It's a complete act of idolatry, and we could prove it. So basically, what they're saying is you can commit idolatry, and it's cool.
Against the Lord. The commandments. These guys are the same guys that say keep the law, keep the law. First commandments, the Lord said to obey him and obey no other powers, man. Because he said, have no other powers before him.
Because when you go into that word mark in Revelation 13 and 16 or 17, right? When he says the word mark there, it says karagma, and you go down into that breakdown of that word, right? You're going to see it explains about what people would do, take a mark upon themselves to show who they belong to, right? Who owned them, right? And that is what you're ultimately doing. You're saying that Esau owns you. You're under the command or power of Esau, and not the Lord. You're choosing your side because the Lord explicitly told you not to do that.
That's got the spirit of Esau, because Esau sold his birthright.
That's right.
For the
Exactly. This is very exact comparison.
lack faith, and you'd have lack faith as well.
I've got the breakdown for the word.
Ye are your father the devil.
Yeah, but that's why Yahweh Shai said that ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do, because these guys are clergy response teams. That's why they got the 501c charter, because under the 501c charter, they're nothing more than an extension of the government.
Yeah, that's it.
So now that's why they're pushing the government lines, right? And when all hell breaks loose, you already seen that they were pushing the them things there, right? So then we already know in this situation that the MOTB comes out, they're going to be telling their congregation, "Oh, take it. It's okay, take it." Because they're Judas goats, man. And the elders said it. We've been saying it for years. It's obvious, man. And that proved it, because they're now trying to make a way. They're basically trying to make a pathway where you could do it without conscience.
I think they're not sinning. They're saying that you can repent after taking the mark. That's crazy, man. You're going to read it right now. The scripture says you're going to be put to death. So
There's no comebacks.
Yeah, you're lying on the Lord, man.
You know,
Revel-
quickly, right? Because it'll use the language it uses. Those that received it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about all this taken out and all this shit. You took it. You received
You
it.
bow down about why you took it because you lack faith.
Exactly.
And like Apostle Elder Tahar said, they ain't gonna hold you down and force it in you. You got to make that decision yourself. You got to give consent. Like you got to make your own decision and say, yeah, I'm gonna bow down to Esau, or I'm gonna restrain and be put to death.
Yeah. Even the people that I know that took the juicy juice,
Yeah,
you got to sign a consent.
They
form.
they took consent and made that decision themselves. Yeah,
Says Revelation 14:9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the Holy Lamb. It's like in the presence of holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
So when you look up that word there for worship, okay,
yeah. The word for worship is proskuneo. It says to kiss the hand towards one, a token of reverence. So that means you fear this soulful white man more than you fear the Lord.
He's your provider.
He's your Lord and Savior. That's going to piss the Lord off. So how are you going to be able to repent?
His power.
Yeah, you can't repent from that. That's damn near close to blasphemy. Like.
It's idolatry.
but it's idolatry. It's simple. That's that. Hey, what did Joshua said? Choose ye this day whom you shall serve, man. You know what I'm saying?
It says, use of homage to show men and beings of superior rank.
Right, so that's why they get confused because they try the MOTB. We've debunked it all already. These men came out and the MOTB was a white woman.
Christianity.
So if you get with a suit with a Sarah or whatever, and you bend her over, you've taken the mark of the beast. That's what they were trying to teach.
Is that something like you take back? Just ditch her at the last minute. Get back in.
But how would that work? This is how silly it is, yeah. Because they're really insulting the intelligence of the people, and a lot of you guys that's in your IUIC and in ISUPK, you must be of the baser sort. You must be of the scriptures say the simple believe every word, and the word simple. When someone's simple, it means they're slow of mind. Because how can a man stand up and tell you that the mark of the beast is a white woman's vagina? How does that even make sense? And they're telling you that Solomon had the MOTB. How? And then so how does that work? He said you're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark. But that's all right. Sign me up there. You get me? Get some free pussy when I go to the store. Yeah? That's how it's going to be, right?
End of your copy that back.
The new world sounds sweet. Like, when I'm going to be going to the store, like before you can leave the store, you gotta give out a few back shots. What the hell is going on, man? How does that even make sense? It makes no sense. Then they said, they came out, they said it's sin. How can it just be sin? That means everybody's had the MOTB if it's just sin. Because everyone has sinned. All have sinned and fallen short. So how can it just be generally just sin? Then they came out and said, it's if you vote, like what?
I didn't hear that one.
Most of the population don't even vote, and Esau don't care. So what are you even talking about? Esau ain't pushing voting. Esau don't make people vote. So how can that be the MOTB? Then what else did they say it was?
Small and great nations.
Oh, that's another confusion. So then they say, the not buying and selling is talking about small nations and great nations, and it's an embargo. So then why does an individual need to take it then? Just use your common sense. If the whole buying and selling and not being able to buy or sell is based on the entire nation, so that means if I'm in the UK, why do I need to have the mark of the you-know-what if the buying and selling is only to do with international trade? Because obviously, I can still do what I'm doing here. What do I need to take a mark for? Unless it's something to do with me buying and selling. But you see, they just threw out that word embargo. And it's like all the simple-minded people, it's like polite. You know when Polite's running his mouth you know, fantastical, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and niggas like, whoa, yo, this guy's deep. He said he knows about economics. He said embargo. Niggas ain't got a clue. It made no sense. Then they try saying joining the military is the MOTV. So Cornelius had the MOTV. He was in the Roman army.
Officer, I mean, captain, man.
But so at one point, everything was the MOTV except the 501c3 charter and the check. So hold on. If you vote, you got the MOTB. But if you sign a contract with ESOL to get tax exemption, you gotta. They said you gotta deal with ESOL's paperwork. When you get big, you gotta what?
I was just thinking that the worst thing about that whole soldier one, Centurion, is Yahweh Shai. Basically, there was a Centurion whose daughter was sick, and then Yahweh Shai was like, "Look, man, cool, your daughter's healed, man." So Yahweh Shai was cool with him having the
MOTB, man.
Can I just get this quickly?
Yeah.
It's so Proverbs 24 and 21 says, "My son, fear thou the Lord and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change."
Right, changing it up
all the time, man. All the time, every season.
And they said it can't be no chip, it can't be no microchip, it can't. It could be everything else.
Everything's there that could suggest that it is.
Yeah, the infrastructure, everything, but it can't be that. It has to be all this other stuff that there's no infrastructure for.
There's no scripture to
the mark of
the
mark of the beast is the white Jesus. Yeah, but Esau's not even pushing Christianity no more.
yes.
You don't care about
not
that.
even pushing Christianity no more. He's against Christianity.
Christianity's dead.
Christianity's dying, my
You know
brother.
what I'm
What's
saying?
going on? Oh yeah, but in Saudi Arabia is part of the team, and Saudi Arabia they ain't Christian.
But this is the thing, right? Because they were saying, oh, it's a doctrine. But what doctrine then? Because there's a million doctrines out there. Or is it a specific one that hasn't come? What is it? Because you're being very vague with something you can't be vague about.
Yeah, but they're being vague, but then they're ruling out. This doesn't make no sense.
Yeah.
It's everything, but definitely not this chip. It's voting. It's all these different vague things, but it can't be the chip. Now they're like, well, you know, if it's a chip, you could take it.
Yeah,
It's cool.
100%.
Yeah, because and that shows you that the fact that they're pushing that out there, I believe, and this is just me speaking, that we're having such an impact now, and they're getting ready to do this thing. They're like, listen, now you need to start teaching. This is what you need to start teaching the people.
Yeah.
Start rolling out the Romans for Eve.
That's true. But them niggas are moving like the churches, man. They're moving worse than the church. You expect that from the pastor to be saying that. But you got Israelite teachers. That's why the Lord.
Church.
Yeah.
Hold on, they are just they're part of the churches because they got the same 501c charter that these dudes.
They got the Christ in there, you know.
That's why the Lord said in Titus, beware them of the circumcision, man.
And they're snitches. That's why they want your government name.
All that.
And I don't mean snitching as in like
The crime.
we're not talking about that gangster stuff.
No.
Innit? I don't give a damn about the streets and the street code.
Cold
I was
we're
saying-
talking about.
We're saying that their clergy response team. So when all hell breaks loose, they've got all the information of all their congregation, and they're gonna assist the authorities, man.
That's a requirement. 501c3 requires that. If they got guns and
If
things
they
like
got
that.
guns and all that kind
You
of
know?
stuff. That's why they want to know your government name and all this stuff, man.
Oh,
I don't even know my own government name.
For real. It's Micah 3:1. And I said, here I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel, is it not for you to know judgment, who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off their skin from off them, and their flesh from their bones, off their bones, who also eat the flesh of my people, and fillet their skin from off them, and they break their bones, and they chop them in pieces as for the pot, and the flesh, and as flesh within the cauldron. So these guys are straight up Judas goats, man. These guys are fucking hirelings, man. And when all hell breaks loose, your leaders are gonna disappear. They're gonna go into hiding, man, and they're gonna leave their congregation to get slaughtered. They're literally being a sheep led to the slaughter, man. And instead of them to wake up and realize that their leaders are, you know, corrupt, they're just following them, man. They're following their pernicious ways. So it's on them. Because you've been warned.
Man.
Yeah, because whenever these guys, when you see how these guys are sycophants, man. whenever we try and, you know, see these guys and they're talking about GMS, these men are all cheerleading on the comment board. Yeah, that niggas in GMS. Listen, you don't know us, man. Them niggas, oh, they're right. As soon as anything happens, oh, these guys are rapists. They ain't been convicted of rape yet. Not one Great Millstone member has been an allegation of rape or had any form of anything to do with rape or any pedophilia. But these men are running around calling us pedophiles. But they're meant to be Hebrew Israelites. But the only thing we did was show you about your own history and your culture that you're ashamed of. Yep. You're ashamed that according to our own culture, and we're not saying we could practice our culture in this society. And how you feel about it, you can feel how you want about it. We naturally, when you grow up, there's certain things that you're gonna have an aversion to if you don't grow up like that. I don't even know damn flipping locust, bro. I'm not gonna lie about that. Yeah, I don't even like okra, blood. So, but you have to understand what our customs are. If we're meant to be Israelites, we're supposed to understand the law, right? Because these guys like to talk about the law. No, that's all the apostles did. They brought out the law in Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter and 28th verse. And these guys lost their minds, and to this day, they're still using that as an avenue to try and demonize Great Millstone. Oh, we hate women. Oh, see, the sisters. Listen, man.
Rather than address scripture, rather than address the breakdown and the edification, they don't want to get into that with us, man. They just want to jump on straight on that because apparently that automatically debunks us. Let's deal with the subject. Let's deal with the matter at hand. Let's deal with these breakdowns, man. Because what you're saying is bogus, man.
Like with some animals aside, man. With some of the coolest too.
So when you check their track record, they got cases on them.
Yeah, murder cases, all kinds of things, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that, man?
Scripture say,
hey, what the camera say? What's saying? Murder case, briefcase, cases of Chris. They niggas is doing it all, man. Yeah, it's true. It's true, man. But it's true. And then still to this day, demonizing us that way. You know what I mean? And calling. Remember they had a whole campaign calling us bums. Oh, we're bums. Well, look at the cost of living. We're all bums, man. I'm saying we're bums, and what's that got to do with the truth? Whether what's a man's economic, social status, socio-economic status got to do with the truth, and whether he's telling the truth or not? That's got nothing.
Yeah,
that's
how was I well to do, man? Let's put it that way.
Man. Rich man,
you know.
But you know what that is? That's defamation of character. That's you trying to do what rappers do. A rapper want to diss another rapper, they'll call the rapper broke because that's the way of the world.
Says Jeremiah 9:23, thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might, let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord which exercise love and kindness, judgment and righteousness in the earth, for in these things I delight, saith the Lord.
That's right. So it's all about the wisdom and the knowledge of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. We're not proud about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just the truth, and it is what it is. And we've been teaching it consistently. The mark of the, you know what, the World War III, and you see that everything is coming together simultaneously. Like it's not just one thing that's happening. Everything that we see happening in the earth right now is leading towards those final prophecies. And when them prophecies come, they're gonna happen in quick succession. Just one thing is gonna just lead to another. The time of Jacob's trouble. It's all part of the same thing. Like you see everything that's happening right now with what happened with the big C. We told you, we said, listen, this whole thing with the big C is part of bringing in the new digital system. And they said it themselves. They said they're gonna, what's that in Psalms the 64th chapter. You know, it says about the diligent search and all that business. These man done said, listen, this is a great right now we have a momentous opportunity to bring forth, you know how the demon Klaus Rothschild speaks, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Clown Rothschild, you know, the fourth industrial revolution shall be brought forth at breakneck speed. Yeah, he said it himself. I didn't say it, he said it. So what is he telling you? He's telling you, listen, we're gonna bring a quick succession of crises that's gonna bring through the Great Reset. What's the Great Reset all about? They're telling you, everything that you see happening right now, you can find it in the Agenda 2030, including the streamlining of production. And you can see what's happening. Factories are getting shut down, less and less production, less choice. That's all part of Agenda 2030. But they're using these different events to justify these things happening.
That's why I've said it myself, you own nothing.
You own nothing, man, and be happy.
That part's the lie, though.
Well, that's the drugs. Yeah. Because what did they show you in Aldous Huxley? Aldous Huxley said, yeah, the future is we're gonna use chemicals So you won't really be happy. You're just gonna be drugged up. And you can find that's in that movie, Brave New World, with the was it Soma? I don't know if you watched that Brave New World. They were giving everyone Soma all the time. Equilibrium. They were getting rid of the emojis, man. So they've come out and said it themselves that they're gonna do all these things. And what did we say? We broke it all down. We broke it all down. We said, listen, if you're gonna have a system of the MOTB, it has to be practical. You have to have certain things. It's all based upon information. So you need to have the devices everywhere that's gonna read the information. So what do you have everywhere? You got RFID technology built into everything. It's called smart technology. The cars, the refrigerators. You go into the shops, contactless payment is everywhere. Man go to the market for buy a two piece or sweet potato, and you go to the market stall, you can pull out your card and pay because they have all these mini readers now. Every man they could hook their phone up to the some app and all that stuff, and anyone can do contactless payment now. Right? So now you have the devices everywhere. Okay, cool. Well, that's data, right? So in order to have that, you need to have that data going from one place to another. So you set up an information network. That's your internet. But then you can't just have wires everywhere. It has to be wireless so that it could be mobile. So that's why you got and 4G changed the world. This brother will tell you because he's the local expert. He'll tell you when 4G came, that's when business became truly mobile. Like 3G was slow as fuck. It was with 4G now. You got broadband speeds, mobile. So you can literally be on the beach working. And as long as you got the mobile mast and there, now, but then you got the next thing now. If you got that data flowing, you need to be able to have that data in real time. Now, if you're gonna have real time requires extreme processing power. So that's why you got your cloud computing. Yeah. And all the biggest, who's running the cloud computing in the world, brother?
America, basically.
The big corporations, man. IBM and all them.
Google, Amazon, and Azure, Microsoft is basically they run at the end. So sorry, Alibaba in China, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and those are the four companies.
All the corporations, so that basically you can have the processing power, you can have the store, you even got the quantum computing, which they got coming about to process the information in real time. You need something to analyze it. The algorithms and the AI. That's why they're pushing the AI through. Yeah. Right? What else do you need? In order for the data to be instantaneous, you need low latency. That's why you got your 5G. And we're all losing their minds over the 5G, saying the 5G gonna turn you into a lizard or something. The 5G is just a means to an end. You need 5G because gamers will tell you when you got low latency, you get that lag. You can't do things in real time with that high latency. You need low latency internet.
Now they've got the Qualcomm satellites.
Starlink as well. Yep.
So basically, if you ain't got no Wi-Fi, say it's stuck in the desert somewhere, they can still track and trace.
Yeah. And it's got Starlink.
Starlink, yeah, because that was something that he himself said. He Musk said two things when he first tried to buy Twitter. He said something, and authenticate all humans. Then also with the whole Starlink thing, he was basically saying basically full coverage all over the earth. Basically what he was
because they need that internet coverage if they're gonna be the all-seeing eye, basically. The eye of Sauron. That's what them man are dealing with, right? So that needs to be in place in order for the MOTB to work. That's the infrastructure. And we've done the algorithms where we've shown you, okay, this infrastructure is all gonna come together, the social credit system. And then what was the final piece? The monetary side, which is the CBDC. The money has to go digital.
Or say banking the unbanked. That's our agenda that they're pushing on with.
What's another way of saying banking the unbanked? He calls it all. Yeah, they call it financial inclusion. Yeah, we know the buzzwords. Yeah, financial inclusion. CBDCs make it financially inclusive, which means all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, they can get themselves a CBDC wallet with a digital ID. You could be anywhere in Africa. You could get your digital ID too, and it's accessible through your phone. Mm-hmm. And your
That's why you had Jamaica take on that JAMDEX.
Yeah, JAMDEX, CBDC.
These are impoverished countries, but they're taking on that CBDC because it's a network.
Even Zimbabwe is working on this.
Well, because it's already been decided. The Bank of International Settlements have already laid it down, and this is where everything's heading. And everyone's pretending like, oh yeah, we're going to look into it. But we already know the decision's already been made. And don't be surprised, and this is, you heard it here, don't be surprised if the first major Western country to do it is the UK. Don't be surprised, because the Bank of England have been working on CBDC for the longest. And they're already in the middle of a currency crisis.
They already got a point. They're just going to put King Charles's head on it.
But this is it as well, man. Because simultaneously, while that's happening, all the cash has been taken out of society. The bank machines are getting taken out because they don't want it. They don't want it, right? Yeah. They're going to replace it, obviously. You know.
Look, they just probably the £20 and £50 notes. They're non-legible now. Been 100 days or whatever. Can't use them no more. So they're coming for a new. Out with the old and in with the new, man.
All they need is a good crisis, and we're seeing that crisis unfold right now. The pound ain't doing too well.
Yeah.
So they can use this. They use this currency crisis, which is inevitable. All these currencies are going to go through serious liquidity issues. Yep. To say, listen, we can come with this new system, and this new system's more controllable. We can control the supply better, right? We can put expiry date on the money. So make sure that when we give this money out to people, they're using it for what we want them to use it for. Because what happened during the handouts they did during the Big C is people started going to the strip club, people started buying crypto. So now with the CBDC, what they can do is they can put actual constraints on what you can do with that money.
Yeah, like the store vouchers. Yeah. You know, if you don't spend it in a certain store,
and people are going to be desperate because what are they doing with the UC, the universal thing? They're threatening to cut it and all that kind of stuff. So they're putting pressure on people.
They're doing it in China right now. They said that if you don't spend your money, all that the CBDC that they're using, it's going to expire.
Yeah, expire because it's programmable. Yeah. So that's the monetary side of the system. Buying and selling. It's going to be built in, and that is going to connect to the rest of the infrastructure that you already have, the social networking and all that kind of stuff. And then you're going to have that chizza. Yeah?
Daniel chapter 8 verse 25, and through his policies, there's all the policies as well that they're making to incorporate
this prophecy really goes back. Okay, but you can apply it to today just to clarify. And this prophecy ain't talking about today, but it's a similar thing that's going on. This is actually going back into Antiochus.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, yeah.
Because even in the time of Antiochus, he tried a new world order. Hellenistic time, he tried a new world order, but it didn't work. Yeah. And now Esau's doing it all over again. Yeah. As it says, knowledge shall be increased. Yeah. So now Esau's got the technology to do it.
The $1 million man.
Yeah.
Have the technology.
And in certain articles, they call themselves the AI Messiah and all that. So they're trying to be the most high, man. Just with the technology.
Well, that what all knowing, all seeing, all powerful,
programmable.
All fossils. That's what it's.
It's Daniel 8 verse 25, and through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
Yeah, this thing's witchcraft, man. Craft to prosper in his hand.
Oh, well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because again, in bragging and boasting, but who was the ones that told you that whole queen thing was a massive ritual? And then just look, after this, they had this ritual. Look at what's happened in the space of the time. That's pushing forward the agendas quick. You see what happened with the pound and all that, like, you know what I'm saying? You see what's happening. Everything's moving fast. The escalations in the warfare zones, and it's all after that thing. What did they say? Oh, it's the end of an era. It's a new era now. So they're gonna push. I'm telling you, we've been telling you for the longest while that this winter, spooky. We're calling it the winter of spookiness, man. And it's gonna get more spooky.
Yeah, Biden even said it's gonna be a dark winter.
The darker, listen, this winter gonna be darker than Akon back home. You know what I'm saying?
That's dark.
Dark. You know, back home, man. Akon in Africa, man. Dark.
And by peace shall destroy many. But they're going to say that this is a good thing. You know, we're progressing with technology and it's going to help you. You know, it's all for the good, right? When it's not. It's all for them, right? This is he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. All right. You wanted
Psalms,
yeah. You got Psalms?
Oh yeah. This is Psalm 64. I'm going to start from 5. It says they encourage themselves in an evil matter.
That's what they do. Who? The elites, man. And the elites are all Edomites. Now, are there heathens that are also under the influence. Of course, you got Jakes, man. You got Jakes that sold out and are running for the team. We're not going to deny that.
Actually, what is known as Catan, this idiot made the pound drop after he speaks pound speaking this and that.
And just a quick one on the politics thing is, you see how politics works, yeah? They brought the Tories in because the Tories were meant to be the saviors. Ain't it funny? The Tories came in, and everything they've done has led to this point. And then so now, fuck the Tories, and all of a sudden the Labour's up 33 points. Yeah, did you clock it? Yeah, they're up. They happen to be up 33 points. So you already know it's a signal. This is what's happening. Yeah, this so that they could bring in the Labour next. And what are Labour gonna do? They're gonna save everyone? No, they're gonna continue with the same agenda.
Or it's just a revolving door, man.
It's a revolving door.
That's why it just goes round and round because obviously 2008 happened. They said because Labour was overspending. What the Conservatives doing right now? They're spending like crazy.
All the money to the bank.
Doing the same shit. You know, and they're gonna replace this government with another government that's gonna do something, and then the same shit will happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because everyone still think that if Trump was in power, that America would be saved. Like, no, man, this agenda goes deeper than they're all puppets. But the guys that's running it, they're the Dukes of Edom. In the spirit, the Dukes of Edom are back again. But they're because realistically, when you look at it, the world has always been run by certain noble families. Give me see, look, I'm gonna look like an idiot now because I can't remember. Is it Genesis? Genesis. What chapter is it? Oh, no, the chapter that breaks down the Dukes. Yeah, 36. Right, yeah, that's the one. Now, what chapter is it, man? Every nation has always been ran by families. Even when you really understand corporations and business is run by families. Corporations is just a way to hide that it's a family-owned business. You see it there. The families, certain key noble families, no matter where you go in the world, it's not individuals that run a country, it's families that work together. That's why you might get like, when you do your research, you go to Brazil, and they'll be like, there's certain families, just type in, all you need to do is search any country and type in top 10 families, and then just read about those families and understand that one of those family members, they might say that they're worth 5 billion. Then they'll have a brother that's worth 10 billion. But then if you look at the wider family, when you put all of their wealth together, it's a conglomerate. They're a power. And then when they join on with other power families, it's like Game of Thrones. It's exactly like Game of Thrones, but people don't see it that way. So the House of Saxe-Coburg-Goldberg, it's just a crime family. It's a big boss family, and there's other boss families as well, and they're all Edomites, the Dukes of Edom. But they're not all calling themselves royalty. Some of them are hiding and just call themselves a philanthropist. Like the Rothschilds are royalty.
Yeah, they're nobles. They don't call themselves.
But they're not going to call themselves that. They're hiding behind the corporations that they own and all this stuff. But fuck the corporations. Who owns and controls these corporations? Certain elite families, man. And they're all, when you get to the top, they're all Edomites, man. Ain't no other nations sitting up there with them because they disdain the other. They not only do they disdain their own people, because that's who a lot of people say the useless eaters. The term useless eaters don't apply to us. We're not useless eaters. We're already deemed to be less than. The useless eaters they're talking about are her. These Edomites that's walking around. Because even though they're racist as hell, they look down on their own people that's beneath them.
They could just imagine, go back to George Guidestones, 500 million is the number that they want to kind of rule at, right? That includes, their own people, man. There's more than that many Edomites out there.
Oh, they're willing to sacrifice their own people to bring in a new world order.
Yep.
Just like my man from Blade 2, Lord Domineskis or whatever the hell his name was. She said, "You was willing to sacrifice me? How many of your children would you sacrifice?" And he said, "All of them."
That is like a Rothschild.
He's a Rothschild, man. That's like, what the fuck, man?
He's trying to kill his own son.
Hey, so if they're willing to sacrifice their own people, how much more the Jake and the rest of the nation? These men don't give a fuck. But yeah, let's get quickly on them Dukes, man. It's the same. These same names we're reading are back here today, and they're going on the different family names. And what these Edomites do is you got the main families, and then you got the offshoots from the main families. Like how you break down the Schwabs are Rothschild.
Yeah, Schwabs are Rothschild. His mother's a Rothschild.
But guess what? Hitler was a Rothschild.
Yeah.
Oh, let's add another one.
Somewhere?
What's his name? I don't know. Probably.
There's
And then
some
you got
other lumps,
what's it
Charles
called?
and them. Charles and them. is
But
like-
they're Rothschilds too. And then you got another one, and they're intermarried with these other elite families. And then you got what's his name? Churchill was also a Rothschild as well. So it's all family, man. It's a family affair.
Because you imagine from the top, from eras ago, right? These branches are branched out well far,
Branch out,
innit?
man.
Well far. Yeah. You don't know who's who anymore because they're so interconnected now. That's why they got these different surnames. Like you got to try and go sift through the shit just to
But
find
they
out.
know, they know who they are. Like, what's his
Yeah.
name was aristocracy as well, Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, no, definitely, because Charles is his right hand man. So he's definitely, you weren't just a regular Eden. That's the clearest. He came from a bloodline as well. But even this guy, he might look like another nation like Rishi. That guy's an Edomite, man. He's a small rat. He's got small rat blood in him, man. That guy, he's not an Edomite, man. That guy's a Jewish rat. He's just hiding under the Oscar. I'm saying,
Because his wife is a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, she is.
He's a rat.
he's a small
Yeah,
rat.
because a lot you got certain, they put their seed up in them nations, man.
All of them.
Like in India and all them
Yeah.
places. Some of them are actual.
Yeah, so you've got tears amongst the old people.
Yeah, because you got like even when you look at say Tata, you said India, Tata and India, it's a major corporation, man. To the end now where when you see which each country as which political class will drive in, a car manufactured in that country, right? So here the Queen was driving in a Range Rover, and the Prime Minister is in a Jaguar. Both of those are owned by Tata. Those are both Indian Indian cars nowadays, effectively, right?
Don't be surprised you come and find out Zelensky might be a.
Oh no,
he's a small hat.
no, he's one. He is a small hat. What are you talking about?
Said that he's a small hat.
Yeah, he's one of them.
So he could be even related to the Rothschild. You don't never know.
Or one of the other, because it's more than the Rothschilds.
Yeah,
But that's just the one that there's different bloodlines, man. Could be more. But again, it goes back to the Dukes of Edom. But you see, Volkow, oh no, listen, the hell with Volkow.
Volkow's part of that. Volkow's part of that.
He's gonna prove himself to get back in.
That guy is of low birth. That guy is a runt. You know them on one hit, man.
This is from Genesis 36, verse 15. It says, these were the dukes of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn, son of Esau, Duke Teman.
Teaming of the Germans, right? They're the Germans that are supposed to be the smart Alex, like Schwab and them. He would be called a Teamanite today.
A lot of them come out of there, right?
Yeah.
And
Scientists and all that.
right?
Yeah.
It says Duke Omar,
Oh, man.
Duke Zepho, Duke Kanaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek.
Right. So you had all these different dukes, man. Every nation, you got tribes that have heads of certain families that are heads that are nobles among them. That's why even when you,
That's just from Eliphaz.
and that's from him.
Yeah.
So even when you go among even our people, the way we were, you had Judah, that's a tribe. But among Judah, you had certain families that were noble families, heads families, top done families, and they would be the families with money and influence.
Yep.
Well, it's the same thing today. The aristocracy, the same thing with Esau. They got the same thing going on. That's why you go America, you got the Koch brothers.
Yep.
A lot of mans ain't heard about them. Like, and some of them are household names. A lot of them ain't.
What's that saying, man? Wealth is not lost, it's translated. Right? These people are built up a dynasty, essentially, man.
They got money, man.
and their money is just spread out among their families.
And they don't declare all of their money. Like that Forbes list is a fraud because it's what people declare.
I was going to say one of there's actually a very good documentary by Al Jazeera about the men who run football, but it actually is a lot more than football. It's about how London is used as a dirty money scheme with money laundering in something called a trust, right? Because when you have a trust, no one knows who the other side of that trust is. So you might you might have a company owned by such and such trust, but that is actually owned, the beneficiaries of that trust is a Rothschild, is it this person, is it that person, and so they can hide behind the trust. If a while, why comes to explain it better. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all connected so that people think, well, how can they have all this thing controlled? Because really, when you break it down, it's a very few families that have that kind of power over everything. So they can control the media, they can control this, they can control all the industries because they own it all, man. But people don't get that, man.
Yeah, well, you know, like Hollywood. Why you ain't got Jake ownerships or Moab ownerships in Hollywood? No, it's run by a certain group of people.
Yep.
Right, as we know, and that's what it's like banking
Making bad
industry.
movies.
You know, it's all the same thing. Banking industry. You know,
Like Hocus Pocus 2. They just done a new version of that terrible ass movie.
I used to like that when I was younger.
That was it, yeah. They ruined it now.
Hollywood screw.
They ruined it. Hocus Pocus 2.
Absolutely.
That's very wicked though.
All right, jump back to Psalm 64. Well, you get the point. You got all these dukes, and then these different, and they're the top, but then you got their little minions that work underneath them. So there's a hierarchy, man. And what they do when these top dons meet together, they're encouraging them. When they get together, they're talking about the enterprise.
Yeah.
They're gonna bring in this new. They ain't getting together and talking about did you see the Arsenal game today? Yeah, mate. They already fixed that. There's someone there who got on the payroll to fix all that witchcraft. They know who's gonna win the NFL at the end of the season. They already know that. That's not what they're thinking. They're like, oh my lord, you know, how are the plans going in America? You get me? How are they coming? Because they're thinking about the New World Order. They've been raised thinking about the New World Order on a real level. World domination. The MOTB. How are we gonna bring this system in?
They come out and tell you. WEF.
And then they have their little think tanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come out and disseminate that information to the underlings, man. At the Davos and all these kind of things. But that's why I said they encourage themselves in an evil matter. What's that evil matter? The New World Order. That's how you break that down. So you got all these guys like Alex Jones, and well, he's a plant anyway, but you got all these guys that bring out all this stuff, like CIA Tate and all these guys, yeah? These guys bring out all this information, but you see what they don't do is filter it through the scriptures. When they're talking about the New World Order, what they're talking about is the Edom trying to establish for themselves an everlasting kingdom. Their version of the kingdom of heaven really is the kingdom of hell. Let it be on earth as it is in hell. I'm joking. There ain't no hell. But that's what they're talking about. They want to establish their birthright, which really we already have, which is to have an everlasting kingdom, to be rulers, to be the sons of God. Everything that comes with the birthright. When you read the scriptures, that birthright is heavy, man, because it comes with godhood. It comes with being the sons of God, immortality, rulership.
That's what the beast's all about, man.
And rulership without fear too, because we ain't gonna be in the kingdom like with one eye open. There's gonna be some kind of rebellion. No, we're gonna be ruling. We're not gonna be fearful of no one. I fear. Apocalypse, do as you will, for I fear no man. There ain't gonna be no fear of rebellion or nothing, because the word of the Lord is with us. We're gonna see, right? What they try and do is control the narrative and try and what they call? They try and falsify events, and that's their way of controlling everything. Oh yeah, you know, we're gonna set up this and set up that. We ain't gonna everything's gonna be set up for us anyway. We don't have to worry about the future. Our future's gonna be secure.
We just have to live.
Set up a false flag.
You have to be there.
Yeah, that's it.
Make it look like you're doing something when you're just faking it all. When you go into slavery, that's gonna be real. There ain't no false flag. Go on.
I'll go back. So
Them chains are gonna be real, man.
Psalm 64:5 says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily.
Let's break down that evil matter even further. So let's go to. You ain't gonna get them though. Them dudes are acrobatic.
Yeah, agile.
You gotta give them a run out, man. Okay. Go to Revelations 12 and 10.
Revelation 12 and 10 says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night.
The accuser of our brethren is cast down. Now that's the accuser of our brethren is Edom. Right, and what is he doing? He's basically saying, Lord, look at these Negroes, they're sinners. They can't get the kingdom. They're irredeemable. Look at them. They're animals. Yeah. So he's like, nah, man, we're gonna take the kingdom, right? Because these dudes are not worthy. right? But that's blasphemy. That's an evil thought because the Lord has already spoken. So they're trying to go against the word of the Heavenly Father because the Lord has already spoken redemption.
Lost your birthright as well.
You lost it, but they're trying to accuse us. But we're going to overcome him. And we're not going to overcome him because we're going to get together with some guns or some swords. The reason we're going to overcome this man is because thus saith the Lord.
So that we're going to get victory over the image and the mark of the beast. Revelation 14.
Not because we did press-ups and sit-ups and we sat there and came up with our own world domination plan. And what are we doing? We're literally just reading the scriptures. What is our plan to overcome the elites? Just believe. You know how crazy that is? That's why most man can't deal with this. Because it's too nah, what's the word I'm looking for? It's too passive. In their way, it's almost like we're being passive. Because we're not like, yo, come, fam. We're gonna buy these couple guns over here. You need to go and infiltrate the Pentagon and do none of that kind of stuff.
I'm just telling you what's gonna happen and sitting back.
But in the eyes of a man, that's how you would take down the kingdom, right? You do these things. But what are we doing to take down Esau? Reading the scriptures. So a lot of men can't handle it. But the scriptures is powerful. The testimony of Yahweh Shai. Let's finish that up.
Okay, cool.
Revelation.
Revelation. It says, so Revelation 12 and 10 says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation, and the strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb.
By the blood of the Lamb. Yahweh Shai already made a sacrifice for our sins, and therefore we already have the victory. We already have the victory. The only reason Esau, the scripture says, the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth his hand to iniquity. Because we have an inheritance in the earth. Not only do we have an inheritance, we also have an office, which is the office of rulership, of royalty, dominion. That belongs to us, yeah? Esau is trying to say, nah, you ain't ever gonna have that. Because I said so. Belongs to me. Oh, you will own nothing. And what do you mean own nothing? Man, just slap man in it. What do you mean? How can you tell man I'm gonna own nothing when the Lord said that he have given us the land forever to possess it?
But this is the thing, in Esau's mind, if he can keep us in sin, he can prevent the prophecy coming to pass. If he gets to take his MOTB, you know, because that's like the final say. Like, you're going to make your decision right here and now. Who's you going to serve? And if Israel abandoned the Lord at that point in time, then obviously they're good as done, innit? But it doesn't. There's always a remnant. There's always a remnant that's left.
So what he's saying is evil. That statement of you will own nothing and be happy is complete evil, because the Lord never intended for man to own nothing. What are you talking about? Even the scripture said the Lord has divided unto all nations their inheritances. And Esau's like, nah, fuck that. No one ain't gonna have nothing. It's just gonna be me. Like, nah, that's greedy as fuck. You're evil, dog. Jump back to 64, Psalm 64. It's evil. You had something before that, didn't you?
Oh yeah, you had said something before. This was
evil. So this whole idea of the New World Order is nothing but evil. It's all about them, man. They're saying that they want to live on earth, but they want to do it their way. They want to reconstruct life according to their image. So we want to recombinate DNA. We want to do the. And why should we follow laws? Why should we have laws that? Who is God to give us laws? So we're gonna have our own laws that we make, and the law's gonna be whatever I want to do. Do as thou wilt. That's why my man. Hey, shalom, man. My man Harari, that little rat, and that dude's gonna be beaten with many stripes, man. The Harari dude,
the other website.
Yeah, the little witch, the high level. He's a high level witch man, warlock, and he was like, well, you know, in the ancient times, when the Israelites disobeyed God would send a drought. But now with technology, we have no need to fear God, because we can have and all this so they think that them man's wisdom and knowledge can overturn the judgment. Like my mom would say, you have a plaster for every sore. It don't work like that.
Them man put the same thing when they built the Tower of Babel, man. Look how that ended. You know, you think you could ask them out the Most High?
They got the technology to do this thing. No, you ain't got nothing, man.
You only got what the Lord gave you, and He's going to take it back. And that's where they lost the plot. The Lord's the one that gave you the power, the spiritual, like not spiritual power. He gave you the wisdom to do what you're doing.
Hey, what's it called in developing when the man's got the backdoor thing? You know when you could just
back door,
the back door. The Lord's got the ultimate back door. Why do you think the Lord can Yahweh Shai was down here just messing up the laws of physics, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord's got the back door, so there's nothing you can do right here. Anyway, carry on up.
You saw it because we were speaking about these guys think it's too passive. So Zephaniah 3:8 says, "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy."
Back of that. 2 Corinthians 10:3 says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh." Okay, this is not a typical warfare. You know, we don't got our boots strapped on and our guns and shit. No, we're here to teach the word, man, because the word of the Lord is powerful, right? Because you can see it, everything's falling apart, not because we're out there, going damaging shit.
We're not protesting.
You know what I mean? We're not the ones, decimating the pound and all that kind of stuff. We're not doing that.
Well, we ain't got no nukes. The people are saying America. Listen, if you don't have nothing to worry about, we ain't got no nukes then, innit? It's your people that's got the nukes, innit? But your people are demons, man. So you're gonna nuke yourself, you devils.
It's verse 4. "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds."
That's where Esau loses, because the weapons of our warfare. It's not carnal, man. We're fighting on a higher threshold, man, higher plane. And these devils are not on that level, man. They're fighting on a low level. All they can do is carnal shit.
And they're working the most in witchcraft.
Yeah.
Them man are doing them. They got the Olympic gold medal when it comes to witchcraft. These men are there's not an opportunity that these men don't take for witchcraft. They doing the level that this man is doing witchcraft on is unprecedented in history.
Yeah.
Everything this man does, if you turn the TV on, is witchcraft.
Yeah.
You buy a drink from the store, there's witchcraft on that drink.
Yeah.
The whole society is basically they got a bunch of witches and warlocks on full time, but I don't even think that man take breaks, bro.
COVID.
Yeah. That man don't even sleep, but them man are constantly setting up, planning new rituals and sacrifices, and they don't stop.
Watching this constellation and.
But guess what? Guess what, man? That's not gonna that ain't gonna work, man, because you can't overturn the power. Yahweh Shai, that sacrifice he made, overturn all of that. So there's no enchantment against Jacob.
He said you're weird in the multitude of your counsel, man. You know, because it ain't gonna benefit you at the end, man. You're still gonna end up being destroyed. You ain't gonna get past that.
They're aisle down and washed down from the other man. It ain't gonna happen. no gunman go out like that, man. They're aisle down. Enough of them man go Haiti and get the wash down the fresh thing. They get the have the Obi man wash them down and then come back and get shot. Yeah, that's how it goes, man. It happens, you know how it goes. Man will come back from the judgment and get shot that day. It don't matter. The Lord will just take you out. Man gets shot with the ring on, everything on, blood.
Yes, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High.
Right. So these elites, they have an imagination. You know, these are the MOTV and the New World Order, the Great Reset, whatever they want to call it, and they have that imagination that they're going to bring it to pass, and they are working. So when they're getting it, the more they're doing these things, believe it or not, they're getting more confident, because everything that's happening, like, yeah, we're going to do this thing back. Yeah, it's working. But what they don't realize is Yahweh Shai is the end of all that, period. Because when that chariot comes through that sky, they don't have nothing for that. They're not going to have an answer for that. How are you going to do that? That's something definitely not in your control. That's not one of your little false flags that you set up. That's not one of your little hologram things or your little where you're controlling both sides. You didn't give your Yahweh Shai them chariots. You man's going on like they're the Iron Bank out here, man. Get out of here, man.
Spanning the work. When the angels show themselves, that's when they will start trembling. They're like, oh shit, other chariots like. No, they can't do nothing about that. They can't spin it in the news. They try and spin it, but like more PR stunts and all that. But it's just coming to pass that those are intellectual beings that you can't have no control over, man. That's celestial, man. And that's the power that's coming to take you down.
But the Lord has put that they're hardened, man, just like Pharaoh. So they're gonna continue doing what they're doing, and that's why you see them man are going full speed, man.
Yeah.
Them man are moving full speed. They're not, and it's coming off nicely. Don't think everything's happening nicely, you know. The way they're manipulating these markets is nice, you know. Okay, do a little dip here, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, then bring this news out. Yeah, listen. Yeah, you man are doing a good job, and keep doing it because
put the fear in the market.
put the fear in. But guess what? All that is just fulfilling prophecy. It's all for the MOTB, the time of Jacob trouble. The Lord wants you to do all that, you know. So keep it going. He's a bitch boy, a gopher.
Because Revelation 12 and 12, man, you know, they will come with great wrath because you know you have but a short time.
Man.
Time's running out, so now it's the time for action. Queen's gone, King Charles in rulership, yeah. You know, he's gonna push, he's gonna push on the agenda, you know.
I got two. Revelation 17 and 17. For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill His will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled.
Yeah, even these European nations, man. Like I was watching the one thing, some geopolitical dons, and they were going into how you've got a divide in Europe. You got like the top nations, like you got France, you got Germany, and who else did he say? What was it? Spain. They said them ones, they have their own identity. So even though they're under America, they feel almost ashamed to be like, you could obviously America's like, you know, in prison and you got that top don that's just bending everyone over. That's what America's doing right now. And that man feel ashamed, right? But then you got these other nations that are shameless with it because they never really was no one anyway. So they just do whatever America says, like Poland and these dons, these Scandinavians, like Norway and them man are shameless with it. But these other countries, they got a little bit ashamed. But regardless to all that, they've been walking lockstep with America the whole time. And America's just marching them into this war. And they're going to have to go into the war. They're going to have to do it. They're going to have to get touched. It's the judgment of the Heavenly Father, man. Right. Germany going to have to get touched. France going to have to get, they all going to go down together. So it's a beautiful thing. We just know according to prophecy that when it's all said and done, they're going to have to turn on the war. Yeah. But they ain't going to get away. Oh, yeah. Nah, man. They're going to have to feel something, man. They're going to have to get touched first.
This whole situation with the Nord 1 and 2, now that, you know, the news is coming out saying it was the West. It was America that done it, you know, said that, and they fucked up.
And they can't do nothing about it. They're going to have to just eat, they can hold that L and blame it on God. They really even can't come out and say it was America. It's embarrassing. They just have to just say it was Russia. Which is good, because it's all pushing everything towards that final conflagration that we want, man.
It's just like you said, like I read in that precept, Revelation 7:16, the 10 horns shall hate the horse. Because America's going to keep overstepping and doing things to put their counterparts in situations that they don't want to be in.
Well, that World War III, listen, when it starts touching them, they're going to be looking for a way out. Because this war that's coming is not going to be nice, man. You heard what AJ said, right? He said, I don't know what's going on over there, but I know it's not nice, man. Yeah, because when these weapons start getting blazed, people are going to realize that, like, is that what we've really been doing in the last 70 years on Earth? Yes. Stockpiling weapons that will tear everything up. And the Lord said that would be like turn your pruning hooks into spears, man. People don't realize the destructive powers, the destructive technology which is on the earth, how the whole world can be turned into a cheese grater, looking like a colander.
Even some of the non-nuclear weapons.
But that's what I'm talking about. I'm not even going nuclear. Just deal with the Hellfire missiles and the
HIMARS and that they've been deploying in Ukraine and that.
Bro, and them things are going to be used in these cities and that, and it's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible, man. Well, it tells you that in 2 Ezra, the 16th chapter, about how the war, all these men are going to die in the war. Bare men are going to be dying, like bridegroom's gone. The meat grinder, because it's the, come on.
Isaiah 9 verse 5 says, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire.
All them missiles flying around, them big, fat, flipping, high caliber weaponries that tear flesh up, they call it the fly through wall type. Them high caliber rounds that go through the concrete. Lasers, all sorts of madness them man are dealing with.
All the US's new ships now have laser thing mounted on them. They cracked the code now to do it. So,
Laser gun.
yeah, laser guns.
Them rail guns.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be terrible when this war ready to kick off and it get hot. It's gonna be terrible, man, because people are gonna realize that this whole time it's been packing all this heat. Yeah, they've been packing the heat. Saudi Arabia, Iran, Europe, NATO, and they're gonna be using it on each other. China, cities are just gonna be getting pummeled.
That's the time to use it.
Go in.
Revelation 14 and 20, and the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress even unto the horses' girdles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs.
That's a horror scene. So there's gonna be a lot of dead people, and we're leading up to that time, and everything's gonna slide into that time quickly. You don't have to take 10 years to get there. Just I told you, a few key crises, and this place is kaput. This place goes into chaos.
This year alone, everything's been so fast. Already, how many events have happened this whole year alone? We're only in October. It's getting worse as the months go on.
Hey, you guys are complaining about Russia enlisting those extra 300,000 people into the army, work, man. The same thing will be happening here, man.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing about it.
You're already doing it here, man.
There's some mass manipulation with the videos though, because they put up some old videos.
They always
tried to show that was them getting recruited and all that. That's not even real time videos.
Yeah.
And man, you know what you saw the
the whole Europe are going to be bringing in people to come fight this war, man. Because you're not going to have enough soldiers, man. And you're going to be thrown out there with whatever equipment's left. And you're going to get sent marching out there into the Middle East or wherever you're going. And you're going to get slaughtered, man.
That microwave meal training. You know that? Yeah, just flick this and all right, go on.
Yeah, that's
minimum training.
Take this off.
That's what they started doing at our workplace, man. It used to be like the training with 2 weeks, and then it's like getting 4-day trainings, blood, and man's on the job. Like, how long was the training? 4 days.
Because remember, these are people in prison for going out to the war, man.
Yeah.
You know, Ali and them, man, you know, they're messed up, man. So you can't refuse. Complain about what Russia's doing.
You should have went and got clapped. Only a fool will follow the nation. Anyway, go on.
I got this. This is.
You know what I mean? Like, all that. Nation Islam is a fraud, bro. It's a fraud in Islam. The Muslims don't even recognize it. It's fraudulent, bro. Niggas just made that shit up, man. That's sad. Prison religion, man.
Proverbs 10 and 20. The tongue of the the tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The blessing of Yahweh maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. Verse 24. The fear of the wicked it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. As the whirlwind passeth, so is the wicked no more, but the righteous is an everlasting foundation.
And these people out here are wicked, man. The average person out here completely wicked, completely gone. Like, they deserve everything that's coming down the pipeline, man. And the worst thing about these people is they're gonna, even though we can see it, this is sometimes you even forget. We're different. We're circumspect. So we're constantly, you see, I got my Telegram set up. I'm not in the booty popping group on Telegram. I'm in the geopolitical groups. I'm getting the information locked in from global sources. So we live in a different world. When you're living in just the TikTok entertainment world, that man don't know. Listen, I dare you to go Harlem, wherever these niggas at. Just say to them, do you know what a CBDC is? Them man start talking about E, F, and G, man. Them man don't know what's going on. They won't know what's going on. The CBDC, and they start throwing up gang signs. Niggas do. Sometimes you underestimate how Negroes do not. They only up on the latest entertainment news and the sports news. In terms of real shit that's happening in the earth, niggas don't know. Niggas don't know what's happening with the fertilizer. Niggas don't know what's happening with the food production. Niggas don't know shit. The only thing niggas know is entertainment, man. I'm telling you, that's their grasp of life. Pure bread and circus. So when all hell literally, even though we're like, yeah, you know, we could see it happening, like, you know, look, the currency is collapsing. Them man, all they know is the pound was dropping. They don't understand why. They don't know what the ramifications are gonna be. They don't know shit.
We're telling them this and they're cussing us out. And why are you telling us this? We don't want to hear
Yeah, yeah.
niggas, man.
It's
It's
wicked.
wicked.
Yeah, that's why it's gonna be even more terrible when the trumpet gets blown. Because believe you me, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be an event where from that event nothing will ever be the same again, and they're gonna be caught in a whirlwind, and they're gonna be confounded. Like, what's going on? I thought things were supposed to be getting better, build back better. Nah, you now entering into hell now.
Well, we're blessed because we know who the enemy is, man. Because the reason I bring that up is one particular Jake that I work with, and he can see what's going on, but he thinks that Esau is
trying to help.
is trying to help, is the savior in this whole thing. He's
It's a lie.
he's a lie, you know, so trying to explain to him. Yeah, it's Nigerian.
Fresh off the boat, Nigeria.
Highest vernacular.
You know,
Type of Nigeria.
What English?
trying to explain to him the impact of all these sanctions that Russia, you know, the West putting on Russia. But his whole thing was like, but the pockets in the West are deep, bro. They'll be able to survive. And I was just like, cool,
Save
man.
up the threat.
Yeah, they will be able to survive, not you. They don't understand that they want the place to collapse. You know, they don't understand that. Like, they want it's a controlled demolition on their side, and they want people to starve. They want people to be in such peril that they just give themselves over. In fact, we still got Psalm 64.
Yeah, we gotta get the carbon numbers down, man.
Yeah, listen, it's built into their plan to have people die.
Yeah, but that's what it is. What?
War, like pestilence, it's built into it. That's a sacrifice to them. It's blood being shed for their enterprise. They don't give a damn.
Yeah, that's why they always pick up the numbers of how many people actually die. They always have like
Yeah, they knew. Listen, they knew whenever they released these drugs. Let me give you a little bit of information. They already know how many people are gonna die. They know how many people are gonna be maimed. They know how many people are gonna die. Those are
They
sacrifices.
got the percentages. They know.
They know. They knew. Listen, when we get this thing out, like 10% of people are gonna get this.
They'll just say, "Oh, it's a
15%.
low chance." That's what they keep saying in the news. It's low chance of this and that. But they know what those chances are. They know what the number is.
But guess what?
Yeah.
Those people are sacrifices, man. Sacrifice.
And I just get a preset what bro just said about your Nigerian friend there.
Well, God,
He's everyone's friend, isn't it? You'll find out he's the worst person you could ever have for a
yeah,
friend.
they're the biggest coons. Hey, you know what? I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought the West Indians were the biggest coons. But I hate to say it here. I hate to say it here. But these West African dudes, they are the biggest coons. Even in the workplace, they be cooning. Niggas be cooning.
Nigerian women, man, they're the worst.
Oh man, the Nigerian women, they be working. They be working for the man.
Well, you saw them all. Them crying for the queen.
I'm not going to work tomorrow. The same bitch that went to your country and colonized your whole
West
shit.
Africa is through. I thought the West Indians were bad, but you West African brothers are down bad, bro. Down all the way bad. Hey, but a lot of Jake are under that spell, you know. And then you can't, even in the West Indies, a lot of the older lot, the reason they're under the spell because, like, say like my grandmother's generation, she used to have to they used to have to sing songs to the Queen. And the Queen, when the Queen would come to visit Montserrat, they'd all have to line up. So it's all that pageantry kind of indoctrinates them to these people, man, from when they're young. So they reverence them. They're like, you know, because that's why they do all that. They do the visits and when they and then you have to all the queens come in.
Special occasion.
Sing up all them songs.
Anyway, we grab this 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14.
Queen, oh.
And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Yeah, that's Esau. Esau's the devil, man. We've been telling you for years that Esau Edom is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Everything this man's doing is against God. And it's sickening. It's disgusting. You see it, man. The whole LGB, everything he's doing is on God. He ungodly with it, man. He's doing no good on the earth. But he's what makes him even the more a devil is he's very deceptive. He may be like Jeffrey Dahmer. Because they're good at hiding who they are. Who was the other one? Not Jeffrey Dahmer, the other one. The one that was strangling all the women. Nah.
Oh,
who's the one that? Nah. The one in America that was strangling the women. Oh. And they did a Netflix on him. Because all they're doing now is making these programs to glorify these serial killers, man. That's what they're doing. They do it in a glorification way, because they've had documentaries on these dudes before. Now this one's all glitzy and. But anyway, the fucking what was his name, man? The fucking dude, and he was strangling the women in all these different states, man.
Strangler.
Oh, what was anyway? That guy, they should have caught him. You know why they didn't catch him? Because he was all charismatic and everyone thought he was a nice guy. And that's how Esau operates. Esau operates like that. Esau is hiding himself. Even the queen and them, man, they hide. They're drug dealers. They're ruthless people. You see them, man, going and making arms deals with flipping old man and all kind of terrorist organizations. And then, yeah. And then it's all you gotta do is subscribe to that what's it called again? Something UK. I think you sent me them. Are you following them on Twitter? Something UK. Something UK.
Oh, there's Disclose TV.
There's Disclose TV, and then there's another one. I forgot the name of it, but basically they're always showing how the establishment, they have one line where they're saying, "Oh, we don't support dictators," but then on another hand they're selling them flipping guns and doing all these deals. And then the royals will go visit them and stay in their house because they're really gangsters, man. And they do drug dealing, they do the murders, they kill people, they kill Diana in front of everyone, sacrifice people, trafficking, right? But then Prince Andrew was an advocate against women who suffered sexual abuse. He actually was part of a charity. He was the head of a charity that was meant to be treating women who had been trafficked and sexually abused, and then it turns out he was involved in trafficking. So they had to say, "Oh no, you can't represent us no more." But that's how the devil operates, man. So then, the Rothschilds are known as philanthropists. You go to the Rothschild website or Wikipedia, they'll call themselves philanthropists. Bill Gates, he's a philanthropist. These are devils, man, drinking baby blood. But they have an appearance, like the brother's reading, of being transformed into an angel of light. They're enlightened. They're trying to help the world. They're trying to progress the world. You know? See?
Therefore, it's no great thing if these ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. So they're gonna get found out at the end anyway, you know. But all this whole shit show that's going on, yeah, the whole establishment, man, is corrupt, man. But they appear like they're you know, they're here guiding civilization, the human race.
They even said it when the COVID thing happened yesterday. You know, they were telling people, wear your mask to help humanity.
Protect your neighbor.
Protect your neighbor and all that, you know. It's bullshit.
But look at the nurses, man. Like classified UK. Look at the nurses there. They had me, man, out here like seals.
Every Thursday.
And then they found out now the nurses are all they're leaving nursing to go into retail because they can't get paid. Well, hold on, stop all the clapping, yeah, and pay the nurses, brother. Why? What's going on? You got money for you. The funny thing, you see how that man found money out of nowhere for Ukraine. But you know why? Because they could double that money around. When they give the money to the nurses are getting that and spending it on their families. But when you're going into Ukraine, you people think, oh, they've just given 10. Yeah, they give 10 billion to. No, they've took 10 billion of your taxpayer money that you're gonna have to pay back and bought these weapons from their own companies and sent them weapons over to Ukraine and then sold their weapons again in Africa somewhere.
Yeah, because they sorry.
Lords of War, man. Yeah, I'll show you that in the movie Lords of War.
So they're basically redistributing that money to themselves, man.
I was just going to say that the two most popular shares that those politicians invest into is war companies and the medical companies. So they profited of COVID and they're profiting of this.
Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, all of them.
Lords of War, man. That's what that is.
Because there was actually something that came out in like MSM, I believe it was, saying they can't, they can only account for 30% of the weapons sent to Ukraine.
It's a fucking war zone. So you could do anything in a war zone. Yeah. When you send 10 AKs over there, what are you gonna leave from here? Okay, okay, so I'm looking for 10 AKs. Serial number. I was looking for that. Man are getting killed with weapons. So you can make anything disappear. You can make a tank disappear in a war, put them on a boat, ship them off to Africa, pay off a few people. Some dude in Niger, some Boko Haram dude is moving around with a brand new tank. Man. So you've sold the tank twice.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. Don't think they're not doing that. That's what they're doing. They're selling them weapons. Oh yeah. 10 for the Ukrainians, 10 for Africa. That's how they're
Wow,
devils,
yeah,
man.
yeah, that's why they say wars is bankers' wars. Yeah, that shit is money, making money.
Oh, because then they send it, that Prince, they'll send it over to the rebels. Because one thing as well that doesn't get reported on is how E will set up rebel groups and take the Congo to fight each other. And whilst they're fighting each other, E's companies go and take the resources, because like Congo's resource heavy.
Yeah, Esau's the devil, man. That's how he's a, whichever way you slice it, this man is the devil. On a witchcraft level, on a business level, on every level, this man is the devil. But those who are blinded to the witchcraft, they can't see it. Like the average person doesn't understand how evil the queen was. They don't know. So as far as so as far as because she's just some old lady and they're a royal family and they were just working and they have some money, they don't understand. No, these people are actively working against mankind. She was like totally against us.
Charles said it himself. He came back in reincarnation. He come back as a slave. These people are evil, man.
There's a video of her in a Druid ceremony, man, getting inducted, man. That's how the thing said. But people going out crying for her and they think she's an angel. And she did this.
Running 14 hours in the cold.
To go
That was a witchcraft. That was a holy experiment. The whole thing.
Yeah.
10 days morning.
Woman that raised monsters. You know?
Now Charles is getting ready to do his thing.
Yep. You've been seeing him in like the news clips where like you see the way he's been treating his staff. Like he's moving like a straight asshole.
Yeah, that's how he's always acting.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's how they all act. Because they're highly privileged. And you know, they're right on them. Because, you know, when you're the king, you could do that. Hey, when the one guy said that, but these guys are assholes here. The man said that fucking what's that pussy hole that was used to be yeah that him used to be following behind the Princess of Sausages. What's it? You know, Princess Diana, yeah, proper slut. Yeah. He said that my man he was downstairs in the castle or whatever, and my man's rang him up like can you come upstairs and telling him come upstairs and pick up something. The man's dropped something next to him. Like imagine you're on a desk and you drop something next to you and you're making a man come from downstairs to come to pick that up to give it to you, black. Now that's not royalty. Now you're just an asshole. That's it, man. Sure, it's because you're a king, don't mean you can't ever pick something up, like you drops. Hey, but that's how these men are raised, isn't it? Like, anyway, go on. But check this out. We're in a society that's all about equality and democracy. But these men, anyway, this is a different life. That's equality. The idea of royalty is totally antithesis to fucking equality. But anyway, let's just keep it. The hypocrisy carries on, innit? Go on.
They're back on the weapons thing though. Right? Revelation 6:4 says this. It says, and they went out another horse that was red, okay, which represents Esau, right? The red man. Edom is red, right? And power was given to him that sat there on to take peace from the earth.
Now hold on. Yeah, that's you know what proves that? You go into the recent centuries, all the wars Esau's had a hand in it, one way or another. Proxy wars, and they showed you how many wars the CIA was involved in. They foment wars, right? They set up color revolutions and all these things. They
like Iran right now.
Like Iran right now. That Iran thing is so fake. Yeah. The woman got killed, and then see, this is what Esau does. You'll find just like the George Floyd thing. That was bullshit. Yeah. George Floyd, like,
it was amazing.
Niggas die every day. Why is it this one thing cause a big storm? Because they take it and they have the little agents, right? And they push it. So now it's like, you notice how they're pushing it like it's a women's thing. But the laws of morality apply to everyone in Iran. Right. It's not just women. It applies to everyone. It's just laws of morality, right? But it's a hijab thing, right? And then they're pushing it like it's a women's thing. And then when I saw the footage, it was bare men out there, man. It wasn't like there was just women out. Listen, if it was just women out there, then women wouldn't have been seen again. There's no way them women would have been out there protesting on their own. There was bare man going, and you know them women are nothing but agents, half of them. Half of that is just agents. And that's why Iran always arresting people for being flipping agents, man.
They showed the commercial Israeli saying they'll be standard.
Yeah, oh come on, man. How is that not flipping? That's Mossad, bro. That's Mossad. And they already had that ready to roll out. That's Mossad, bro. And then another one where that woman was talking and she was blatantly American. And she was like, here in Iran, we can't have internet, so we can't have TikTok. So then how are we watching your video right now? And then she was like, I know my English is not good, bro. She was speaking damn near perfect English.
The sign they're talking English, bro. It's like,
I'm like, bro, she was putting on the accent, bro. I'm like, yo, like, you are sitting in the Pentagon right now. I know this.
Even like that British that they arrested, and it was like around which is gonna arrest any random Brit. They might, but that was more than likely Asian, man.
They got plenty of agents, and their job is to infiltrate and set up these things. But like I was saying, like these Esau's hand is behind a lot of these wars, even in Africa and South America. Esau's been in the middle of it all, man. Fomenting these wars. He's the one making all the guns.
Yeah.
You look at the top 10 weapons producing companies in the world. Now I think 9 out of 10 of them are all European. Some of them are Israeli. So Israeli weapons companies, European weapons companies, and American weapons companies. You can look it up. Just type in top 10 weapon producers. It's Esau, the Christian man. He's the one creating all these deadly ass weapons, big bomber caliber that lick off people and split them in 3 pieces, blood.
he want to build the nuke, right?
The nukes.
But this is his nature, though. This is his blessing, you know.
But
Okay, yeah.
the man's got more. This man's got weapons that's if he spent as much time on healthcare as he does on weaponry.
Then you try to see the other side, but the weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, from him.
Manufacturing the damn thing.
But this is how he lives. This is how he's able to control and get everything he's got is through this war that he does.
Says Genesis 27. I'm gonna jump straight to the point. From 39. Then Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above, and by the sword shalt thou live.
Right, so Esau is hitting his turn right now. He's enjoying the earth right now. He's at least got everything on lock on this planet, pretty much. They've got everything that the heart could wish for, but it's still not enough. As we know, his desires is hell, right? He can't be satisfied, right? But the way he goes around getting these things is by what? By violence. You know, that's what he does. Even though he doesn't need to, you don't need to go into these polygons. There weren't points he got there, but there's no reason to go to these other nations and destroy them to take their resources when he's got plenty.
Libya, it's a recent issue. Libya, Iraq.
That's it.
Oh, he's in Syria right now, like stealing all the oil at the moment.
Blowing up people's pipelines and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, Trump said we should have took the oil, and he's the great Christian savior. He's the Messiah, isn't it?
Yep.
Causing bad mayhem in the earth, man. Blowing up people's pipelines and that.
Yep.
Oh, he's called the devil, man.
That's a terrorist activity, right?
That's what they called it as well, so sabotage.
Oh, yeah, did they even call it act of terrorism? That's what
They
that's
never said that.
How come they don't say ISIS did it? But apparently,
You need a submarine.
apparently, yeah, you need to do it at that depth, and there's only a few militaries in the world, basically America and Russia, that have the capability of doing it.
Biden came out and said, "Good, we'll take them out."
Yeah, we'll do something about that. Yeah.
How are you gonna do something?
Send another country.
Do what you said. Because it was
Badness, right? Badness. Yeah, well, that's what I. That's what I.
We chop a little bit.
I don't believe all that. That's all part of the act, man. Him acting all senile, and it's come on, because it's all an act, bro.
You can't have a guy running the country and he's that bad. So the science has got to be up there.
It's an act, man.
Right.
It's all part of the show,
And then you can't put Camilla in, so that's probably why they're holding it off.
So they can put whoever the fuck they want it in there. They've already shown that it doesn't matter. They could put fucking The Rock, Dwayne Johnson in there, blood. What difference will it make? It would be funny. It would be good though.
Bring Schwarzenegger back.
Oh, that would be good.
The secret destroyer.
I think they should bring Obama back, blood. I like that dude, man.
He's in the Bahamas.
Want a burger? There you go.
John 10 and 10, the thief cometh not but to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly.
That's right.
This is not Esau. This is not the nature of Esau and what he's been doing on the earth.
Yeah, he's not. You know what? He's not there for us to uplift, man. You got you look at these Jakes in the biggest example is Jake in the entertainment industry. Broke.
Yeah.
They be broke, man.
Broke.
They be broke because Esau runs the entertainment industry and he makes sure them dudes leave broke.
Yeah.
They enter in broke and they leave broke. Esau's not there to uplift them dudes. He's there, look, you got a set, disseminate toxic ideology, and then you owe me money. Them dudes is broke.
The deals are ridiculous. I remember, what was it? Malcolm made a song about Jimmy Ivy, because him and his guy went to basically sign a deal with Ivy. It was an interest group, yeah. And Ivy was like, "Yeah, we'll take 90%, and you two can share 10%." Between two man.
And they'll still find a way to take that 10%.
Exactly.
They'll find a way to take that, man. Esau's society he manages his economy perfectly to keep you, Jake, in the socio-economic bracket that he wants you with. Because if Esau wanted to, Esau knows, the thing is what people don't realize, Esau knows how to bring economic growth, and he knows how to stunt that economy. He knows, the master of the economy. So when you see you Jakes are like in a certain situation, they know how to change that. They know how to alleviate certain taxation here and do this, that here, and inject this amount of, and they know how they could build you up. They know how to do that, but they don't want to. They don't care, man. You're there to play a role in his economy and to push forward what he's doing. He don't give a damn about the state of you, Jakes.
Just like the whole economic situation in the UK now. They're saying they're going to pump money, give money to the rich, and they're going to have to trickle down as effect.
Well, yeah, the tax cuts is effectively giving the rich more money. You know,
they know they
the whole
can fix,
bracket out.
and they know they can fix the situation properly, but they don't want to. They're just going to give money to the rich and keep the situation going.
Because check this, they took the higher tax break off, bro, which is 45%, right? So they get 5% straight off the bat. But the poor, they get 1% because they're bumping down the regular tax brackets from 20 to 19. So the poor get 1%, but the rich get 5%.
And a part of them doing that so openly as well, because the real rich people, it doesn't matter about brackets anyway, because they don't pay taxes. They don't pay, they pay 0%. This is only there to foster the class divide and the class system. Yeah. But when you see these devils, man, what they do, like even in Jake countries like Jamaica and places like that, they know how to keep these guys where they want them, man. So Esau, he ain't there for our turn. He's against us. Simple as that.
In Nigeria, for example, you've got like two major players, the Unilever and Shell. But Shell's got like 30 billion worth of profits from Nigeria, and they poison all the water supplies, paid off the politicians, and then they got the army shoot. So you got protests in Nigeria, but over there, those army men will just shoot you down dead, and don't have to explain shit. There's no paperwork to show. There's no explanations that have to be given.
And then the media here will be conveniently silent. Because the man Shell and that got shares in the media, and they pay the advertising. That's how you bribe off the media too. You buy advertising slots.
Yeah.
Get their money dependent.
Where Esau.
And where they showed you that with that guy Tucker, where he basically started like trying to move their advertising off of his show to try to get him fired and stuff like that.
Yeah. So Psalm 73 verse 3 says, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, but there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm."
Rightly so, because this is their kingdom. To let Esau do what he's doing, because in the kingdom to come, he ain't gonna have these opportunities no more.
Yeah, it's his turn right now.
Yeah, it's his last term.
But it ain't gonna last much longer.
That's it.
Yeah, these elite families, they're living a whole different type of lifestyle. Their lifestyle is, if I want to eat in New York, I'll go eat in New York.
Or if I drop something, man, pick it up.
I want to blow up that building there.
There's nothing. Money is not an issue. No, nothing is an issue for them. They get what they want. They're a woman. Like these women, man, they get what women they want. They see a celebrity on TV, no matter what age she is, they gonna get her.
That fucking Amlakite, man. From the
He's just a small total. Like, he's small, but
he's small, but
Rothschild, the higher up they've been to.
Whatever they want, they're just getting it, man. You think that whole Dubai thing began in Dubai? It didn't begin in Dubai. They be doing that everywhere. Them Edomites, when they got money and they see someone on TV they like, they gonna get that person. They go call up the, hey, listen, I want that person at my house. Yeah, money's not an issue.
Externalization of the hierarchy.
Externalizing the hierarchy.
Things that they do and do on a more common basis than are doing that.
Yeah, so I mean, Saudi is got more popular for it because them Arabs, But it's not just the Arabs that do that shit, that pay people and pay celebrities to do. What about my girl that was got that blood diamond? Was it Naomi Campbell? She went and she was chilling down there in South Africa, and that Brer gave her that blood diamond. What do you think she got that blood diamond for? Just to turn up and look pretty? Man, she was doing the most, bro. So them dudes, them elites, they live on a whole different level. Their children, they got everything planned out. They living on a whole different level, man. Like it's nothing to them. Like how these Jake go crazy over diamonds, these man don't go crazy. They got rubies and all that stuff. It just is what it is. They grow up like that. They got these stupid ass Jake with them damn watches, acting so dumb and ignorant, and then they're looking at them like, bro, that's not even worth nothing. And a lot of times Jake are getting sold fake shit too. So they're just taking the piss out of Jake, man.
They're not having to pawn it back though.
They're taking the piss, man.
Yeah, when you look at the crown jewels, she's got 4 crowns. Like she's got one that the royal family's got like 1 crown that you wear at the coronation, and then there's another. One of the rubies is worth like literally over about 10 mil. Like literally one of the rubies alone. I'll look at the price for it now. One of the crowns.
And that's just the stuff they show you. They got treasures that they got hidden.
That 4-ton golden carry.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but them jewels in that crown, she doesn't wear that crown regularly.
And that's the only one in you. There's a few of them golden carriages.
Amsterdam,
you got one of them that so it says of the crown jewel of the nation's most precious treasures, comprising of more than 100 objects and over 23,000 gemstones.
stolen 23,000 countries. You know what I mean?
Bro. Yeah, bro.
They say the nations, you know, but it's not. Them part of them, the jewels that didn't come from Britain. Like, they were stolen.
That's the one.
That's why.
A couple billion that carry.
But this is why, you know, these people don't care about other people. You know, they don't care. They're not righteous, right?
But that's what
You know,
listen,
they don't care.
They're good, man. They're good.
Queen don't. They're not righteous, man. They're wicked.
They're like, there's no Jakes that's really living on that level. These other Jakes, they're under pressure. These Edomites are not under pressure from no one. They're calling the shots. All these Jakes that you worship, them man have to bow down and do the double-handed motion on these motherfuckers to even stay relevant. They don't have no power. They don't have no real will. Jay-Z, they guys think Jay-Z got to do the double hand, man. Otherwise, they ruin Jay-Z in a minute, man. They control the media, they control the entertainment industry. Next thing you know, he be doing up R. Kelly, man.
Yeah.
He be doing up something. Or they'll just kill him. They just kill it. Oh, Jay-Z got shot today. And you know?
Made money from his streams when he
Yeah. You got 1,000 tracks in the release, so we're gonna release it now.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say one of the crowns that's got the Imperial State Crown, which contains 2,868 diamonds, 17 sapphires, 11 emeralds, 269 pearls.
That's why they laugh at these niggas when they see them running around with their fake watches and acting like they're doing something on the planet, and they're all broke.
You got all that, you still get subscribed by factor.
That's how gangsters roll. That's how gangsters roll. That's extortion money, bro.
Because they're billionaires, but the UK taxpayer paid for the funeral.
Yeah.
But you're a billionaire.
Yo, the security,
Badness,
mad.
that's good badness.
It's our
Oh, well, you get me? They're running extortion. Escort, I'm not trying escort, man. It is. Good, man. Hey, that's what it is. It's badness, man. You're exempt, bro. What's going on?
Hey, we bring out the Borgias, you know, the first crime family. It's just an extension of all of that.
It's the mafia.
You know, that's what it is. It's the one. It's that family. You know. But back in Psalm 73, it says, verse 5, it says, "They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain.
Right. Pride compasses them about as a chain because they've been unstoppable. They've been doing everything that they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, so these dudes have a high level of pride. They feel like they're untouchable because they just plan shit. They conquer nations and they feel like they got the world on lock. They doing all this witchcraft. They're doing all this stuff underhanded, and it is working because the average person ain't got a clue.
That's why it's going to take a higher source of power to come and take it. Because these devils are like, no one's going to stop us. We can stop us. We create all these policies. We create all these wars. You know, we fed both sides of the war. You know, we find out they win on all sides. So it's like, who's going to stop us? And that's why the Lord has to come back. He's the only one that can stop them. Really
They're not proud.
proud, and they even got so they are so proud that they think they're gonna try and fight the Lord when he comes back.
They control. Here it is. They control the same courts that you would have to use to fucking prosecute them. They control the courts. They control the same media that you rely on to expose them. They own. Remember the whole thing, when the whole Andrew thing came out, it wasn't being covered in America like that because they run if they want something to be in the news because they want it to be.
Yeah.
Anything that's in the news is they don't want it to be on BBC. It just ain't going on there. You will never hear about it. That's why we tell you if it's on the news, it's been given the green light. Don't think it just popped up there. Oh, we're getting exposed. No, it's because they want that exposure. You know what I'm saying? That's what I said when they took that Tate dude off the thing, and all of a sudden they're talking about it on the mainstream media. Why would they do that? Why would you remove someone and then give them free promotion? That in the mainstream, you just not talk about it. And guess what? If they didn't talk about it, most people wouldn't even have known about it.
No, he is. That's what
So it's all part of the control. So these people, that's why they're so proud, because it's like all the mechanisms. Most people think about checks and balances. So there's police. They control the police. They control the FBI. They control all these things.
So
So
they're commissioners, they're all masons and whatever. They're all on that payroll, man.
do you know how many times these men have been caught, like being pedophiles? And then one guy
These
will
rings. Like,
these
what
rings, and then a guy they'll always get that one guy that's
One guy.
investigating, and he brings it to his superiors, and they're like, listen,
done
that ain't going no further than here.
We got the guy, you know.
This is it. Like we're not going any further with this. Look at Jimmy Savile. How many times that investigation got canned? Because they control it. So when it eventually came out, it's because they wanted it to come out. So that's why they're so proud. They're like, well, who's gonna take us down? Who's gonna do anything?
Where they say you shall see us and all that business because they're in control. All this manipulation that they've been doing, man. It's like, well, ain't no one gonna do nothing about it.
But the man came on TV and told the whole country of England that he don't sweat. No, think about it. No, you really got to think about this, yeah? Who in England really thought he was innocent after that interview? I didn't know anyone in England who was capping for him after that. Everyone in England could blatantly see the guy's a pedophile, but he's still walking around on the street.
Well, to prove your point further, they basically made it. The Metro had an article saying that R. Kelly was worse than Epstein. They actually ran that. They actually ran.
Everyone's gonna look bad and lose. It's gonna be his. Jake looked like the biggest predator, even though he saw the biggest god, vampire type devil on the earth. But I'm gonna put this Jake there.
There's no way RK was worse than Epstein, man.
I don't know.
I mean, look, man, RK's tracks are legendary.
Some bitches in the house, man. This guy had a whole island,
He's had a
man.
bunch of bitches in the house.
I had a whole island, bro.
And
And them bitches weren't forced. They wanted to be there, man. They were chilling. Yeah, listen, man. That proves to you that these elites, they don't give a fuck, because the man went on TV and he blatantly wasn't even trying to lie properly. It's like, well, it's like, what the fuck?
That's what you know.
Guilty. He was guilty as fuck. Like, but then what's happened? Then they paid off the 12 million to put that to the side, and then he's just walking around and like normal on the streets. And then when one man tried to protest him at the funeral, then man bagged him. But it's freedom of speech.
Yeah. And that was all robotic as well, because he was like, Andrew, you're nonsense. And then literally, as soon as he said it, all the robots like, God save the king, God save the king. It was like instant.
Yeah. So that's why them elites are so. That's why them elites are so proud, because they're just like untouchable. The law don't mean nothing to them.
Them crowds are fake anyway. They're fake crowds, man.
Yeah, them plants. Go on, let's continue.
Yeah, so let's finish this. This is verse 6. Therefore, pride compasses them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish.
They got it all, man. They have all the finer things in life. They want for nothing. Anything they want, they can get, because money answers all things. Yeah, the boats, the cars, the houses. They go holiday where they want to go holiday, when they want to go holiday. I must have breakfast in New York tomorrow on the private jet in New York.
Yeah, don't worry about saving the planet.
Oh, and they don't get checks. They go flying up, they go flying around in private jet. They don't get nothing to worry about what you dickheads are worrying about. Them man are moving the crack cocaine, it don't matter. They're doing up the crack on the. They all,
Hunter, bro.
oh,
I was on live stream, snorting it up with little kids, bro. Little kids in the bikinis, bro. We was there watching the thing in the pool twerking.
oh.
This guy's sick, bro. And then Biden's giving him more money. Biden's just throwing money at him.
Yeah, they were over there in Ukraine doing pure badness, pure underhanded. Because Eastern Europe is basically
Anything goes.
the go-to place for pure badness, pure trafficking and drugs because it's
That's
pure
why the
corrupt.
tapes, isn't it? They try to get the tapes. They try to say, no, we're into that. They're in Romania, like, trafficking women and shit. The web coming up. They try to say, no, we wasn't doing that. You know? I don't know.
CIA tape.
Drugs up.
No one knows what you were doing.
But he's CIA, so he could be doing anything, man. Go on now.
They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily.
Right. Their view is it is righteous what they're doing in the earth to defraud. Their thing is like their whole philosophy is if I could get away with it, it's righteous. They don't see it as wrong or evil. It's good. Their law is about removal of guilt. Because their viewpoint of morals is why should God set the moral standard? So if I want to do evil, why is it? It's not evil. Who is it to say what I'm doing is evil?
You can say what evil is.
And I'm telling these people what I'm doing to them, and so it's righteous. They don't feel bad about nothing they do. That's why they have the whole thing called what cremation of care. They don't. Their mind frame is completely opposite to the average person's mind frame. So for you, it's like, yeah, if I molest this little girl, it's evil. For them, it's good. What do you mean it's evil?
To build more power.
Who told you it was evil? That's their mindset. What? Because God said it was evil? He's evil. That's their mindset.
When the fucking power, I think the whole tweet of her thing to light from when she was speaking about doing something, talking about when she referenced today, but then did it in code as well. Like, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but you get that. See that because they play certain roles on the way up. Sometimes they give them a position where they're the opposition. And then it's like in WWE, and then they'll flip from being the opposition. Now they're with the team. That's all. You can't trust people that act like they're against the system. They're just playing a role for a time, innit?
By definition, they'll be a politician and they're full of shit anyway. They're always playing that and telling lies, and when it's suitable, you know. Because Boris is on the fence about the whole Brexit thing, but but then and then he become prime minister because he was on it. It's not Boris. We know they're all dodgy characters, man.
There was a tweet, recently, Klaus Schwab, about, people who bugs and shit in Africa. Klaus Schwab liked the tweet, innit? He liked it.
There was another someone living in some box room.
Yeah, so can provide a nutritious source of sustenance.
But why are you eating that, man? They're eating fucking ragu beef. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, why you eating? Yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
Elysium. Oh yeah, Elysium. Yeah, because they're telling everyone, oh, meat is bad for you, this, that, and the other. And so listen, let me put you up on game. There's no food that's bad for you. That's lawful. If it's lawful, it's not bad for you. Everything is bad or good based upon balance.
That's why you said that as well. But there's an actual article in The Guardian where the UK is encouraging people in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Zimbabwe to. It says the actual title is "Aid Projects Encourage Rural Inhabitants to Eat Insects Rich in Vitamins and Minerals."
Everything the body needs.
Everything the body needs, man. This was the devil, man. Listen, man, nyam that dog. I steak, man, for them, you get me? More lamb. You get me, dog? What do you mean, man?
Edible insects have long been touted as a resource-efficient source of protein, requiring less land and water than conventional life.
Yeah, because when you break it down, what Esau done with all this dieting, if you actually trace the history of dieting, right? And everything is bad for you. Remember, they say, you have to have a fat-free diet. But then the fat-free diet is all high carb. Then they said you have to have the low-carb diet. Then you have to have... So basically, what Esau's done is create all these diets. You can literally go and research it, and they could tell you water's bad for you. Like, there's man out there telling you, you got to eat only raw meat. The next man are telling you got to eat only raw... It's all bullshit. Let me tell you what you're meant to do. The way life is supposed to be, you have the natural foods which are around you, and you put them together in a seasonal and balanced diet. Simple. That's how man have been living for thousands of years, and it was never no problem. All of a sudden now you can't eat cheese or you can't. It's all bullshit, man. It's garbage. Listen, you can eat whatever you want as long as you balance your diet, man, and don't overindulge in certain things.
Yeah, unless so give you an allergy.
Remember, they used to say coconut oil was bad. Now they find out that coconut oil's got whatever, man. Oh, this thing contains. Listen, even apple seeds have cyanide in there, but it's not gonna kill you. But they'll point to that and say it's only apple. Fuck off, man. Apples. One guy I saw was saying, "Oh, you shouldn't eat this." Everything, literally, this. If you were to follow what these men are saying online, the only thing you should literally do is die. Just go on a fast and die.
The fast is bad, though.
Because nothing.
Don't fast. That's what they man are saying. So in
the kingdom, we're gonna eat everything that's lawful, and you eat it with balance, and that's all it's gonna be, man. People the way people work. You study the way foods were, like Nigeria, they got the tomatoes, so they eat a lot of tomato with the thing. They work it up in the sunshine, and that's that, man. You know what I mean? But balance, you can't overdo it. It doesn't make it bad for you. You know what I'm saying?
Psalm 36:1, the transgression of the wicked saith within my heart that there is no fear of Yahweh before his eyes. For he flattereth himself in his own eyes, and so his iniquities he found to be hateful.
And that's these Edomites. They flatter themselves. They think they're good people. The average Edomite thinks that they're good people and they've done good things in the earth. They flatter themselves. And they actually think that we should be thankful to them. Can you believe that? That is the most maddest thing. They believe when we talk against them, they're like, bro, like, how can this man talk against us, man? Like, we did all of this for you. It's like, well, was it part of the comment when this dude, oh no, it must have been one of the other channels, one on the brother chats. Some dude, some Brit, was basically saying you're ungrateful. The Brit, because of the Queen thing, the British did the most to end the slave trade and all this. I'm like, yo, this man want to bank you, know?
You did a lot in it too.
Yeah, bro,
You know what I'm saying?
what you did was it was an economical move where you saw that basically the slave trade had become uneconomical.
Yeah.
So what you did was you made it illegal, but there was many people from Britain that were still continuing the slave trade illegally, therefore making more money while doing it. And no one was actually ever found guilty of slave trading in the courts. It was very difficult to fucking get man prosecuted. It's just like drugs, heroin and all that make more money being illegal, but they're all still doing it. They're all making big money on it being illegal. So it ain't big. They didn't end slavery because they cared about blacks, man, or people, or they were humanitarians. It was economics, man.
Because even like you're saying about the whole drugs thing, earlier on you had mentioned about how these drugs are going to be what's going to be keeping these people healthy. You look at America, they're legalizing this, legalizing that, and everything.
Yeah,
you know?
because they chose to.
Yeah.
In certain places for money, they could tax it. But certain places still illegal because they can make a lot of money. You know, they make it hard for people to come into the country illegal. And who do you think is running most of that illegal trafficking into the country?
Well, it's like control supply and demand, isn't it? That's what they're doing.
They think it's guys like Frank Lucas.
Oh, blood, it's these Edomites. They run the black market and the white market.
Common market, yeah.
They run it all, man. And whatever way makes more money and makes more sense, that's what they'll do. They don't give a fuck. So the British didn't give a damn about no Negroes. So are you for real?
The bitch had the queen had a fucking signet with a fucking slave getting trampled on by an angel and so forth. That angel trampled on a shake. That was a signet on her fucking chest, man. She wore that with pride, man.
Yeah.
She already knew what that shit was. She didn't care. She knew people were gonna see it. No, they don't care, man. But he said they're selfish, man. They're very proud.
MJ said it, man.
That's what they don't understand. Like, these devils are proud about that whole slave thing. That British Empire, they're proud of that, man. That's like that makes them very proud.
Achievement, bro.
Yeah.
That's what got them where they are. That's why they're living lavish.
All their songs, the reverence, everything they've done, their great accomplishments on the earth.
Prince Charles
You know?
turning up to the coronation listening to Stunt 101. And I don't really care if platinum or white gold. That's how they went around it, bro. They're living nice, man. They carry on.
Psalm 73. Psalm 73 and 12. Behold, these are the ungodly prosper in the world, the increase in riches.
That's what they do. Oh, they said during the crisis, these guys just became more rich on paper money. They still have all the assets. And then another thing these devils did, like Prince Charles and then they created a worldwide fund, right? And the worldwide fund is basically like for conservation reasons. They just confiscate land from around the world. Like, you know how much land the worldwide fund owns? But the worldwide fund is owned by the royal family. So they go to Africa and they've got massive expansion. And they're like, listen, for conservation reasons, we now are taking control of this land to conserve wildlife, right? Then they start running the militaries. They use it to train militaries and rebels and to traffic drugs because they control that land now. It's part of the devil, man.
Probably done like what we was them things where they have the drones mapping out what's under the ground as well. Probably like, oh shit, there's a mine over there. Let's take this bit.
Have that later.
Yeah.
This man, they increase in riches, man. They don't lose riches. They make more money upon more money, and that's why the poor are getting poorer and poorer. One guy said his house cost him what, 64K? Did someone post that?
Yeah. So some guy basically saying his house cost him 64K, and him and his wife were on a joint salary of 30K. And then fast forward about 30 years later, him and his wife on a joint salary of 50K, and that same house is now worth about 420.
730.
730.
And now I think that said he bought it in 97, so that's what, 25 years.
Inflation, man. And they ain't been building the houses and setting up new cities or nothing like that. And the UK is basically based upon the fraud that's going on down there in central London. That's basically, if you were to erase London from the UK is down bad. Really, and most people don't know that. The UK, as soon as you go outside London, UK is broke. If London was to become like Brexit and become its own country, bro, the UK will be poor. Because you got Manchester, them man are down bad up there. Ghettoed out. You start going to them cities in the outskirts of England, man. Them man a lot of them places, them crackers there down bad. That's why they on heroin and niggas go out there and sell drugs. So them dudes are down bad, man. Most of them man that vote Brexit, that's why they voted Brexit, because they so down bad. They're like, yo, must be the EU's fault. That the north-south divide. It's a massive divide, man, and you know, there's a lot of poor ass crackers, man.
That is like the fact that City of London, that's 20 miles richer than the majority of cities out there.
That's some things.
That's where all the money is, and then most men in London are not really seeing most of that money. You know,
It's because you didn't 73 because I was already there, innit, man. I just want to read the rest of verse 12 we use that, innit? Verse 9 says here, so they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth.
Yeah, they set their mouth because everything they say is against God, man. And they violate the Most High and think they're on some level. And these men are shitbags, man. How is it that, I mean, you get angry when you hear it. Like that Harari guy, you watch it and you're like, yo, why the fuck am I talking about the Most High like this, bro? Why are you disrespecting like this?
And he meant to be, you know, one of them issues, man. You know, he meant to be one of those people that's supposed to believe in power, but you don't.
These people are ungodly, man.
Yeah, I heard about it.
These people are ungodly, and now they're pushing all this Batman thing. They're pushing all this LG thing. They're pushing transgenderism, which is as ungodly as you can get. Makes no sense. It's pure some would say it's unnatural. It's unnatural behavior, man. And then you got to raise your kids up in a society. If you got children, you send them to school. It's a complete madness. But then you can't afford. If you want to homeschool, you really need to be making enough money where your woman don't work, so your woman can do the homeschooling. Otherwise, you end up having to send your kids to school. You can't afford the homeschool. And worse, if you try to go private. Speak for you. So you send your kids to these schools, and they're gonna start teaching your children about Neanderthal man and evolution and dinosaurs and all this kind of bullshit, man. And then what can you do? Because your child's confused now. Who they gonna listen to? School or you? And then it's like the school's testing them. They have to know this shit. It's bullshit, man.
Yeah, and then if they find out that you disagreed, now your kid's getting taken away.
Taken and then given to two lesbians.
Yeah.
Mad thing.
Therefore his people return hither, and waters of a cup are rung out to them. And they say, how doth God know? And his knowledge, and is their knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world, they increase in riches.
So they're mocking the Lord, they're mocking the Lord. How does the Most High know? If their knowledge of the Most High.
Hey, the Lord, because the Lord's eyes, listen, 10,000 times brighter. The Lord see everything, man. Because the Lord running this whole show, man.
Maybe do something. Or what you said. This is Ezekiel 28. And one says, the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power.
The Prince of Tyrus is the Edomites today. That represents Esau and Edom. He's trying to sit in that seat right now.
Yep. It says, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God.
So they suffer from something called a God complex, where they see themselves on that level, but they don't realize they lost that birthright a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
They gave it up for the morsel of meat, and Jacob supplanted them for that birthright. So now we're the God. The scriptures even quantify that. Because the scriptures say that we are the nation of gods. We are gods. God's going to make us immortals on the earth.
Perfect.
That's part of our birthright now. The Esau lost that birthright. But he's still going to fight for tooth and nail to try and get it back, even though he's fighting a lose-lose situation.
We're going to set up a perfect kingdom. Our kingdom is
In
going to be
righteousness,
perfect.
though.
Our kingdom is the people are actually going to praise. Oh, yeah, this is great. This is good.
Even though
This
they're
is
going to be in
perfect.
slavery, but they're going to be eating clean food, breathing clean air.
Yeah.
They're going to still be getting their asses whooped, but it's going to be a better outcome than being on this side.
Oh, 100%. Because they're not going to get sex changed.
Yeah, none of that. No?
Whereas they're not going to be trying to foster destruction in the household. Gotta keep uphold the law, which is righteousness, which is life,
War in
man.
their lands,
Yeah, setting up
Yeah.
wars.
Yeah, man.
instability. That's what it is. You know.
We ain't going to be trying to steal lands and shit, like come and steal your land. Because we're going to own everything anyway. We ain't going to be doing no false flag events and all that shit like Esau has
Yeah,
to do.
man. Be a
to try and take
manipulation
power.
tactics,
We don't
man.
have to do all that.
Scumbaggery.
Yeah.
And that's one of the sickest things because in this world, you don't know what's true. Unless
Yeah,
you
you
filter
don't,
it through the
you don't.
scriptures.
Like
But
you
so
said
much
before,
shit is
you don't
fake,
even know
man.
what's going on over there.
So much shit is fake, and it's like people can't even see how fake. Like this Ice Spice bitch that blew up. That shit was fake, man. She was the fucking planet. You know the bitch, man. You know that nigga a munch and all that shit. You must have heard that track, yeah. It fucking went viral. But then what it turned out, the bitch was already signed to a label, and then they had Drake followed her, flying her out, and then on-flow. It was all set up,
All
man. It was all
insiders,
fucking
insiders.
insider shit, man. And then the sex tape got released. It's the same playbook. Everything's fake, man. Nothing's natural no more. It ain't just that the man made a good song. It's all pre-planned. It's all bullshit, man. Manipulation, man. You see the Ray J thing? It came out. It was all pre-planned. All fucking contract signed and all that shit. So if that's fake, how much of the shit is fake, man? A lot of it. Fucking. Why would you want to live in a world that's so scammy and fake, man? Nothing's real. You can't take nothing at face value. You're on ease. You're on anxiety. You can't trust nothing. You can't sign nothing. You get me?
Living on a fucking reality TV program, man. You know it's all fake, you know, but like people are in it anyway, you know what I'm saying? But it's like here we're living, but it's like, what's real? Like, what's fake? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck's going on?
Show. That's what drives you crazy,
What's
man.
crazy, man? That's why you got to filter everything through the scriptures, man. Question everything.
But that's that definition of the Matrix, you know. When you watch the movies, they go through all of that, man. Then you know this world ain't really what it is, what it seems to be. There's something outside this film. You know what I'm saying? You know, yeah, he's living a lie. That's
Truth for this world is ugly.
That's why everyone's gonna be better off. Isaiah 14 told you. Once the light, everything, once the smoke is cleared and everything's been and the dust is settled and this devil's been removed from power, everyone's gonna realize that they was being manipulated by the fucking devil.
they're gonna praise the Lord.
They're gonna be happy, man. They're gonna be like, this piece of shit ruled the earth, man. Causing my people hell. Yeah, destroying shit.
But calling it enlightenment, calling it progression,
And look where it led us. Fucked up.
destruction.
Yeah. But the scriptures say they drank of the wrath of the wine, you know, that they gave out, man, because they could beginning with America, that they dragged these other nations in their ways. So now these nations are also gonna, join in that judgment, man. The Lord's gonna jack them all up.
Yeah.
You know?
Psalms, the 59th chapter, verse 2. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity and save me from bloody men. For lo, they lie in wait for my soul. The mighty are gathered against me, not for my transgression, nor for my sin, O Yahweh. They run and prepare themselves without my fault. Awake to help me, and behold, that thou therefore, O Yahweh, God of hosts, the God of Israel, awake to visit all the heathen. be not merciful to any wicked transgressors to law. Even on the point you were speaking on, with the World Cup that's coming up as well, they've been pushing PR that they're going to give all the workers compensation. But even I looked into it as well, like just for participating, every country gets 1.5 million paid to them just to be in the tournament. And then on top of that, then the winners get about 40 million prize money. But then none of that is being this, like people that the running campaigns talking about the players are going to give wages back to the back to those communities. But the players ultimately they have no, all that money goes to the governments of the different nations that participate, man.
It's just a spectacle, man.
Well, what was it? Was it a World Cup in Brazil? Or was it Olympics in Brazil, man?
Yeah,
That place is dead out, man. After all that money they spent building up and that, it's a shit show, man.
Look, I don't think there's been any. They've said there hasn't been any Olympics that actually benefited the home city that it was in. But that's because it's not meant to. It's meant to just redistribute some money into some elite hands and captivate the people. And it's all a ritual on top of that.
But even with Britain as well, we only get like 4%. Like they were going into the energy thing. We only get like 4% of it from Russia and the UK. But then the UK has the highest energy prices when they only depend. And
the UK's got gas, but they have the lowest storage facilities. So why haven't they been investing in a storage facility? By design. But I thought these men went to Eton and they're so fucking smart. Yeah, and that's the thing. People forget they are smart. So if it's not being done, it's been done. You know, they say either they can't do it or they won't do it. They won't do it.
That's why in France it's like the EDF is nationalized, but over there British Gas and all of them companies are privately owned. So my shareholders are making.
And that's why I'm saying Britain might be the first to go and lead the way.
If I can back you on that, because Britain is known as like the tech hub of Europe, if you will. Yeah, they're trying to move that into like places like Holland, especially after Brexit. But like that, for instance, that whole Old Street area, Old Street down to Liverpool Street, that's like a big tech type thing.
Well, haven't they brought through the digital legislation? I'm sure they brought through some kind of digital legislation. Because didn't Rishi Sunak said they were going to be leading in bringing the making the financial system net zero, carbon zero, and all that stuff. And I'm sure they're well ahead in terms of legislation in the euro. So personally, I believe the first CBDC will be the pound, and then the rest of the euro will follow, and then the dollar.
Because
I'll just say this back up on Glasgow. Glasgow is one of the richest tech hubs. They've invested massively in Glasgow as of late as well. Like most of the banks have opened up new sites, innovative sites in Glasgow as well.
That's only why the whole Brexit thing happened. Exactly. Britain was going to be the first to bring forward that new system.
Oh, it just wouldn't surprise me because they've been really the pound's been getting a battering. You know what I mean?
And it's just one country.
It's just one. Yeah, it's just one country. But and they're also at the center of the financial system. So if they change over to the CBDC, then it's easier now for everyone else to then jump on the bandwagon. So it wouldn't surprise me if Britain, they orchestrate some kind of collapse, some liquidity crisis or something like that, and then they have to shift over and even if they introduce CBDC, it will be introduced alongside, and then phase out.
We're in that time, man. This is the time of the last major prophecy.
Could be next month.
Yeah. Who knows, man?
They're
definitely fast tracking this new world order.
Didn't the Bank of England, they were the first to pivot because everyone else was raising the high interest rates, and then the pound started collapsing, but they weren't the only one. And then they decided to start running the printing presses again and start paying. Because I heard that the pensions were about to implode, weren't they? Yeah? Was you going into that? Yeah, I heard the pensions was about to.
Basically, like all of those pension funds, they're linked into government bonds, and then basically because of the fact that the pound dropped so low and because of the tax cuts, all of those pension funds, because the Bank of England didn't intervene, would have just collapsed. And no one knew about that. They should have risen the price of the pound.
But these government bonds, they're always going to increase in its value, man. But once the pound went down,
now they got to go print money to buy up these bonds to keep the price up.
No one's even talking about it. All these people
could have been gone.
This is what had the government. They just found out one day they ain't got a pension there.
That's why the gold and silver is cankered. It's all fraud, man.
That's why the scriptures say, "Trust not in uncertain riches, man." And it's
Man
what.
lose their minds if they lost their pension.
Oh yeah.
That was controversy.
Yeah. But the thing is, sorry, also because even a lot of young people now, what do? They did the opt-in pension, here in the opt-out pension. So by default, you go into a company, you're automatically. So all of these young people are like, "Oh, I'm saving up for my future." When your money's cost. Stolen.
Extra tax right now, isn't it?
Yeah. The whole thing is a lot of people that have just bought houses just right now. Just right now, you know.
Shows that you
Well,
don't really own anything.
Didn't they do some kind of thing where they dropped the poll? Was it the poll tax or some tax? So you could, it was better.
Oh, stamp duty.
Yeah, so then people were running in
yeah.
and like, yeah, I'm sick. And then
Yeah.
they probably
Yeah,
heard
Yeah.
in the CD crisis,
Yeah.
right? They put the stamp duty up so man still go out and buy the house and that.
Yeah.
You know, they moved out of London because it was because they work from home. But now they got to come back to work now. So they're all stuck out there wherever they are now.
And then
Got a brand new mortgage
Yeah.
that whether they got a fixed or a variable rate, once it runs out,
Yeah.
you don't want to see that interest rate afterwards.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
They said
You're not getting London wage, bro.
start running
That's why you
webcams.
moved out.
You better start running webcams out. You fucking spare room.
Yeah,
It's just a
Because even though on the fence, like the Bank of England and the European Central Bank were pushing a hackathon, which is like basically a setup where they had all of these different commercial banks pushing the future of money. That's one thing they're talking about there, which is basically the CDD. You had Lloyds Bank, Barclays, and I've got the companies here: Mastercard, IBM.
New World Order.
Yeah.
all of the new digital banks are all Mastercard.
Mastercard. Yeah.
Your Monzos, your Starlings, the ones that are all app only, all Mastercard.
A lot of people.
Mastercard.
Visa was having that issue a while
Yeah,
ago.
Mastercard.
But even Visa are jumping on.
Yeah, they've both been on the whole the crypto thing from a long time. Yeah.
Because it says it here, like all of those banks were working with a variety of technology, Corda, Ethereum, Java, digital asset modeling. But basically, all of those banks on the front line will make it seem like they're not down with digital.
But they are in the background.
But
That's how it'll work, because you
know
don't. That's how anything works. Any type of digitalization, usually the front of the store, you don't see everything that's happening. Like no one knows what happens when you go to send money from one place to another. But there's a whole mechanism that's happening behind that. But you don't care. You just want to see zeros moving from one to another. So they can easily plug and play in this new system.
Yep.
Breakneck speed.
You got more, bro?
I was gonna say, it just says in here, like all of those banks are working on a coin specific to their company. So like those banks are working, the major high-speed banks are working on CBDCs on the front end level, but it's all gonna feed into one master.
Yeah. Well, that's why you got retail CBDCs, and you also got wholesale CBDCs. Retail one is the one that people are actually gonna have, and you got the wholesale one, which is just interbank. But then there's multiple ways that they said they could do it. They can do it where you can get the wallet straight from the central bank, or they can make it where the commercial banks have an account with the central bank and they handle the customers and meter it out that way. We'll see how it's different ways they can get it done. But either way, the role of commercial banks is going to change. You know? But they've already been preparing for that change. That's why a lot of these commercial banks have been buying up these different payment companies and stuff like that. This is really just going to be about payment rails. Because that whole cross-border is going to change, where you're not going to be making money from that no more.
Says James 5:1. Go to now, you rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten.
Right, there's something called blood money, man. Not all money is good money. The way you make your money, it does come back on you. It's true. And that money becomes a curse. That's why the scriptures say about the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked. Because how you make your money does matter. That's why they try and, these wicked ass jakes, oh yeah, I'm going to sell crack. And then after I finish selling the crack, I'm going to take the money and do something good with it. Bro, you're cursed, bro. Ain't nothing good going to come from that. That's not how life works.
That's why they go either two ways. They end up in jail, they end up dead.
You can't do evil And this is the philosophy of Esau. You can't do evil and then live life happily ever after. That's what Esau thinks he's done. You know, they done all this wickedness, and now they, you know, well, I just own a company. You know what I'm saying? But granddaddy was like slaughtering. No, it doesn't work like that. That the Esau, Edom, they with that money they've inherited a curse. That's in Job what? Job 27. The heritage of this is the of the oppressor. So that there's such a thing as blood money, man. And Esau's got blood money. Them riches are all corrupted. Exactly that. Ill-gotten gains. That's how Esau's got what he's got. And that's true.
And then the star gets lifted. The shameful experience like it tells you in Habakkuk. That's like with the whole British Empire thing. As soon as the Queen died, all the history started to come out. They go, oh, the book's open on that bitch.
We can't
Like,
get away
she did
from it.
this wickedness, she did that wickedness in this country. She stole this territory. She stole these riches from this country. Like all the shameful experience comes out because it's still got engaged. You ain't done no righteous thing to get the riches that you got. Stolen. And you haven't paid for the crimes that you committed either.
And you haven't.
You're
You're still living good off
fugitive.
that.
Yeah,
Living
you're
good,
fugitives, man. So you're gonna have to pay.
Well, they said they admitted like during the Olympics that they omitted, not admitted. Because remember when they had the 2012 Olympics, they had the history of Britain, and they skipped through slavery and went straight to the Industrial Revolution. But it's like what they don't tell you is the capital for the Industrial Revolution all came from slavery. Because all them slave masters took the money they made from slavery and the plantations and put it into the factories. So that's why when you go into like up north and all these different places, you got people like Matthew Bolton, the Bolton family, and he's a big guy up in there, like in Birmingham. He got a whole college named after him, streets named after him, because most of these top slave owners were nobles. In there where they were known as philanthropists, just like Bill Gates and them, man. And they were big men in society, and they all owned plantations. Well, guess what? They took the money they made from the plantations, and then they started building factories, and they invested it in the Industrial Revolution. And their families, you know, made that money. But where did the money come from? Ill-gotten gains, man. Badness.
Love work is so ill. Because it's made of, man.
Selling heroin. They don't like to talk about that. The East India Company. East India Company were drug dealers. They were gun runners, drug dealers, gunboat diplomacy. They were scum. East India Company was nothing but a bunch of scum. And who was involved in that? The Queen and all them, man. The Bank of England was formed by nothing but a bunch of scum. And they don't tell you that there was a loads of banks in England. How do you think the Bank of England became the #1 bank? Did you know that? If you go back in the history of Britain, there was many pounds because there was many banks. Because think about it, it's a bank, isn't it? You got Barclays. Why is there one central bank? There never used to be one central bank. There was all different banks, and they also have their different notes. Yeah, and then the Bank of England became the dominant bank, and then we're the central bank. Because the gangsters, the top gangsters own that bank. They shut everyone else down. And if you want to operate, you operate under us. What does that sound like to you? Badness it, Carl. That's how bad man roll on the streets. Yeah, okay, you want to keep selling on your block, you get your shit from me. You're under me now, I'm the plug. Yeah, top boy things, isn't it how it rolls? Gangsterism. You can't be doing your own business. Nah, if you're gonna do, or we'll kill you. If you want to do business, you gotta do it on stuff.
And it comes institutionalized.
It becomes
Part of the fabric of what it is.
yeah.
No one questions night.
Why can't I start a Bank of England, man? And start printing money?
I remember someone was like, when you print money, it's money laundering or counterfeit. When the bank prints money, it's
Badness. Be a bad man on that. You hear me? And they got the guns to back it up.
I got more on this, but I just wanted to get this real quick as we're on the topic. It says Sirach 10:8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Yeah, and that's why this kingdom has to be transferred, man. From this wicked ass society to the children of righteousness, man, which starts with the elect. That power is going to be transferred, man, and we're going to do it the right way. We're going to show these devils how to really rule and how to rule, really live in righteousness on the earth, man.
A lot of these ancient kingdoms were wicked and they were destroyed by their own greed. And Esau is no different. Because you see, the thing about a man belly long, you know. A man belly long. But when you get something, you want more. You're never satisfied. You want to. And most people, you even watch them old documentaries. They'll be like, look, if they'd have just stayed, if they'd have just kept it there, they had to do more, had to keep going, and then their own greed and hubris and pride was their own downfall. And the same thing's gonna go for Esau. He should have just chilled.
Finishing off James 5, it says 5 and 3 says, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire.
Yeah, that's why you're seeing the system crumble the way it is now. Now they have to do damage control to bring forth a new system in place of that, man. This new monetary digital system, the CBDCs and all that. But that's not going to stand the test of time. That's going to be destroyed within a blink of an eye. If they're going to establish this new world order, as soon as they do that, this whole system's going to implode. World War III is going to start. It's not going to live the test of time, man. It's really going to be short lived. Like even this new system that this new industrial revolution, like how long did the industrial revolution last? Like 100 years, whatever. It's not going to be that long. It'll be a couple months.
About 100 days.
Yeah, it's a couple weeks, a months, and then World War III go kick off, and it's over. So much for your industrial. So much for the great reset.
It's the thing, okay, I don't get a reset.
Yeah.
Once I got the real reset button, man.
Yeah.
And the difference between your reset and our reset's going to last an eternity, man. After the law comes back and sets up the kingdom, that reset's going to last for an eternity.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't going to have to, come back and do changes and none of that. Reset after reset. It's going to be us forever. You devils are going to be in slavery for 1,000 years, man.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be done. Then you're going to be Obadiah 1 and 18. You're going to be gone forever, like the brother said. Done and dusted, man.
Yeah.
So it says, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you.
Because we got into the history of it as well, but like even the pound sterling, why it's called sterling because the sterling silver. Because like back in like the medieval periods, like you can look it up as well. Like 1158. The pound silver, the pound was actually struck from silver, man. And during the time of King Henry IV, all the way down to the period of 1551 during the Tudors, they kept on decreasing the value of sterling silver until you get to the point where the Bank of England was introduced by paper money.
A lot of it usually was due to war. In order to stretch the money during war, they'll make people buy bonds and all them kind of stuff. There's a lot of wickedness going on. And you know what the funny thing about it is, yeah, they tell on themselves. Because if you go down to the Bank of England Museum, you brothers have been there, right? You've been there? Probably you got to go down there. When you go to the Bank of England Museum, there's a video where they show you the history of the Bank of England. And they say, yeah, and we just took the pound off the sterling. And it's just like, whoa. Like they're explaining it to you there when money became not money.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. So you mean at one point you can use it to redeem it for silver, and then the next day you can't? Isn't that stealing? Because the people who had the money with the bank was expecting to have that silver. Now they're not going to get it. And then if you come to demand your silver, what do you think is going to happen? Could be a gunshot in your face, man. Who told you that? Badness, man. Man just said, no, we're doing it different now.
The man just get everybody's silver in the vault and then give it back.
And it's pure theft, man.
People here as well, like before the 1700s, like you're saying, every country you had their own pound. You had that Scotland, Ireland, and everything. Yeah. And then they all merged into the sterling and 1707.
And it's even worse now because the money that we have now holds no intrinsic value. Now they want to go digital, which that money totally holds no value at all. It's all dots in the fucking computer.
Some cyberspace.
It's just a ledger of value in the real world because there's real service. Yeah,
because they're saying
it's a ledger. It's just a ledger.
You know what I'm saying? But there's no actual value to it. So it's even 10 times worse, man.
They give it to.
It's really a derivative.
Yeah,
the money is a derivative of something which is supposed to exist. Yeah. But the thing itself is not the value. It's a derivative.
Actual.
Because you can't repay the money. They take the asset off you eventually anyway, like with the houses, and they get the real assets, and then the company starts.
Yeah, they take actual real things from that, having that digital or fake money.
Satanic. But it's all gonna go. It's a fact. That's why the scripture said the fashions of this world, like the brother saying, shall fade away. Because once Esau's destroyed, the world's gonna come to a whole new way of being, and it's a righteous way. Just weights and balances, no fraudulent, no advertising and lying. Yeah. Any man get caught advertising and lying are gonna get beaten. You know what I mean? They're gonna get they're gonna have to pay back. Any man they defrauded, they have to pay it back, and they're also gonna get the stripes publicly. Because this world is a fraud. You know how much things these men sell, and it's fraud. Even the toys are fraud. Man, I think the toy is gonna fly, but they ain't flying nowhere. Now you used to get pissed off. You watch the advert and you think the thing's gonna be doing up the most, yeah? And then you get it and it's just what the bomber club? Like, that's not what was on the advert. A lot of these adverts are lying, bro. You know what I'm saying? So all this defrauding of thy neighbor and all the scam tactics, our world ain't gonna be on that. So if you go to sell something, you better describe it as is.
Yeah.
You better say everything was wrong with it, because that's righteousness. The Bible says, defraud not your neighbor. Yeah. So if you got a car and you know the carburetor it ain't working, you can't just tell the man the car without telling him that the carburetor ain't working. That's wickedness. You got to give man the full information so they could set the price and do the business, man. And that's how business should be done. That's how you have trust. But you can't trust Esau, because Esau got all kind of fine print, underhanded contract tactics.
Changing rates halfway through the contract, all this stuff.
Esau will bring in some next shit to put your house prices down, to buy your houses for cheap, and all this madness, man. It's wrong. It's evil.
Charge you usury your own money.
Even the way inflation is measured as well is deep. But they take like an average of like 700 items on average that are the most popular in the country, and then you get Edomites that go out into the country in different regions, and then they measure the price average, and then basically give you an average across the board. One item might be like £100 more expensive, and another might be 10, but they just give you an average and say that's the inflation rate. But technically, like the petrol price hyperinflated. But no,
I do inflation by chicken and chips.
No, you do. The thing is, because you got like a Big Mac index. That's actually like that's sound.
The most accurate inflation chicken and chips. And when I was growing up, 3 wings chips was 99p, and now minimum is £2. So that's 100% inflation as far as I'm concerned in about 10 years. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Saying the same shit about the fish and chips. That was the pod comes from Russia.
Yeah, I remember the chip shop down the end of my road, right? It used to be like 80p, like a small portion, it's like £2 now. So
you're telling me inflation has only been 2% every year? 2% every year don't bring you to that price.
Yeah.
No way.
That's just for potatoes, bro.
And I'm not a master mathematician, but the math ain't mathing.
80p to £1. Yeah. That's a £2, so for a potato.
But that's all right. That's all part of the game anyway. We told you Great Milson told you, get used to the term shortages. Did we not? We told you, listen, this whole thing about shortages ain't gonna stop with this C19 thing. It's gonna be an ongoing thing that is gonna be a problem, because what does the scripture say? There's gonna be a perplexity of nations, distress of nations. So there's gonna be a famine. But famines don't just come out of nowhere, even though you might, it comes out of nowhere in certain circumstances. But really, most times there's a famine. It didn't just come out like overnight there's a famine. No, if you look at the conditions leading up to the famine, you could see that the famine was coming. Like even the thingy stones that showed themselves. It's science. You know what I'm saying?
That's what one of the TV shows I always recommend is that Clarkson's Farm, because that was shot around 2019 into 2020, and then at the beginning of that, he's actually explaining that the crop has been shit for years. He said in 2018 it was bad and the farmers were hurt. Then in 2019, when he was doing things, the weather was all messed up and the yield was low and the farmers were hurt, right? And then now obviously what happened over 2020, where farmers weren't able to get the people to work the field because of the whole C9, the whole CV, whatever, and the farmers were hurt. So for the last however many years, the farmers have been hurt. So what does that mean? That means there are reserves somewhere, right, that have been depleted, that are being depleted and haven't been filled up over the last however many years, right? And then what's going to happen is it's just going to materialize in place.
Like something that they could have stopped from happening, but they just
kept it going.
Because there's a purpose behind it.
That's it.
They're purposely doing this orchestrated famine because they want to do all the chaos scenario,
That's
man.
it.
So they want to come out with the end goal of the New World Order, them controlling, the ports, everything, them controlling who gets the food and who
Yeah,
doesn't,
exactly.
rationings and all that. But you have to be down with the NWO agenda
That's
to get
That's it.
See, look at this now. Real quick, before you brothers carry on the family. Elon, the billionaire puppet Musk, who's his family are all elitists. This guy is not just some dude that's just smart. He ain't smart at all. It's bullshit. He's a puppet billionaire, just like Bill Gates. Dudes were never intelligent. They were put in the place that they're in. Now he's meant to be noticed. They push him forward as he's anti-establishment.
Yeah.
He's the savior of mankind. Okay. Elon Musk debuts Tesla's first humanoid robot with eye on mass market. So he's just about to develop mass market robots. Now these robots are going to cost 18 grand each. That means they're going to be taking away jobs from people. But he's meant to be a man of the people. But when these robots replace the people, what did he say? Well, everyone's just going to have to go on what? Universal what? What is he been advocating for this whole time? So he's part of the agenda. Bring unemployment. When you get all these unemployed people, they become reliant on the state. And then guess what? Okay, well, universal basic income.
It's the same thing with
You see it there?
Yeah.
We're going into recession now. Yeah? Robots do the work, and you guys, you're gonna have to get this. So this is all part of it. They're showing you. Fucking robots, blood. What humanoid robots like that? We already have humanoid robots. It's called people.
That's it.
Want to take the soul out of them. Have some cyborgs.
Now you doing a menial job. You ain't gonna have no job because they'll just get a robot. They don't have to. The robot, you don't have to follow no human regulations.
No breaks.
Yeah, it's just a robot. It's a machine. So none of that employment.
Yeah.
You don't have to take a holiday.
No union.
Yeah, no unions, no breaks.
Yeah, and that's cheaper than you get a human. Because what, 18 grand? That's not that much.
Yeah.
Over the long term, when
yeah.
you're not having to pay into a pension for
Yeah.
it, you're not having to.
Yeah, you're not having to do any of that because you think about what minimum wage is here, and then the minimum wage, the employer is still having to pay taxes for you.
Well, obviously, because the government own you, so they have
Exactly,
to
yeah.
compensate the government for using you.
Exactly. So for one, he's basically that company's made that money back for 1 year of service.
Skynet's taking over.
That's it. And the thing is, you only work 40 hours a week, 40 to 60
Yeah,
hours
all you
a
need
week.
is engineers
Yeah.
to manage and then you can have AI that really manage the upkeep.
Skynet's gonna take over.
Skynet.
Machines gonna take over.
That's it. That's it.
2 Ezra 6:23, and the trumpet shall give a sound when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time shall friends fight against one another. John. 2 Ezra, yeah. 2 Ezra 6:22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the four storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and then 2 Ezra 6:22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
Right, and the way he's gonna do it is he's basically kept these people in a lull. And one thing that the whole CV allowed me to see about these people, and then subsequently, is these people don't react to something unless they're told to react. At least here in England, anyway, right? Because these people didn't start panic buying until the TV showed them, oh, you need to panic buy, whatever, what have you. Right,
But at the same time, it's telling you not to panic.
exactly. You can't. Exactly.
Don't buy up all the stuff.
Don't buy up with exactly. That's
Start with
it.
the tissue. They tested it out with the tissues. Made
And-
people go crazy for tissue.
Don't be sleeping like this, and tissue is important.
Yeah, but this was the thing that was hella. What was very interesting about that was when they broke it down was like in places like Australia, the reason why they were doing it is because they don't manufacture it in their country. Whereas it's gone, and I was like, but here, like, well, we got trees. We got trees. It's not a problem. but basically it was showing you how easy it is to manipulate these people, right? Okay, so yeah, these people are just gonna wake up one day and there ain't gonna be no food in Tesco, man. All of these, well, they looked at, you know, Zimbabwe and this, that, and the others, you know, I see there's no food, and then you had the stores, but that's coming here.
You already know it's not the same. 'Cause you
Yeah,
go
there's
in
a lot of
stores
shortages,
now,
yeah.
it's like I still can't get certain things.
Yeah.
You have
know?
to get there when there's been a delivery, innit?
Yeah.
And even with the energy crisis as well, all these localized stores will close eventually. And then there's only going to be the big new world order.
Because all this inflation, right? Like it's affecting their rents and all that kind of business. Like obviously a supermarket as the Tesco, they can afford to take the hits.
Yeah.
But the big
How long?
companies, yeah.
Yeah, but how long can these more independent stores? How long can they last? How long can they keep the
Well,
lights
they're
on?
already on shaky legs because of the season.
You put an example. One guy in a restaurant, holding a restaurant, it was like double the.
Yeah, but that's always been the plan. Agenda 2030. Everything will be in massive corporations, basically running everything. You know what I'm saying? Big pharma, big agro, big everything. Yeah, and then you reduce, because right now we live in a world where there's 50, 100 different types of trainers. Why do they need all that? Their thing is, look at Star Trek. That's how it's going to be. You see how it is in Star Trek? Everyone's wearing the same shit. You get me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't, you know, bitches be having like 80 different pairs of shoes and it's been destroying the planet. So their argument, see, they've caused the problem because they're the ones that cause all that communalism. Because the actual fashion industry releases shit every month.
Yeah.
Like, so it's all their fault. But then they're like, oh, see, look, you people are, you call this consumerism, it's destroying the planet. So then, you know what? You get to choose from two
But
shoes.
they base their economy on consumerism.
Yeah. You did this.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a different makeup palette every fucking 2 weeks that all these women have to buy.
10, 20 handbags. The things that you have. You know, that you wear one.
Yeah. So now it's going to be, well,
and I noticed now
reduce
that a lot of the clothing lines out there, they all recycled clothes. They're not actually new garments per se, right? They made out of fucking plastic bottles and shit. You know what I'm saying? Old garments that got reused. I see advertising on the underground, Boohoo or whatever.
Oh yeah, buy and resell.
Yeah. You know, recycle your clothes, buy and sell it. You know, use clothes and stuff.
Well, you own nothing.
They're pushing,
so they're probably gonna have it where you do rent clothes by the minute. You know, we need to make a dap for that, brother. We need to get on the you own nothing.
Your website.
Not many though. You might have
Decentralized applications, man. Everything's gonna go that way, man.
You see us, they're pushing right now. You know, until the point where it's like, oh, we don't even need that. Literally, one you ain't got options. You don't have options no more. You know?
Which that's just completely against how Israel is. You know, we wear flavoursome, you know, brothers, you know, look over different styles of garments and all of that. But that's what Esau wants, that grey. There was that Dulux advert years ago where everything was grey. Everything, and that's the world Esau wants, man.
But no, there's well for us. Yeah, for us. Then they get to have all the lavish palaces and all the things they want, man. But that is what it is. But in order to do that, they have to collapse society, bring the fair, and that's what we're seeing happening right now. Bring the shortages, you know, and then everyone will roll up for the chins. We just showed it live on TV. The man's talking about robots, and he's the same guy. I got the article here where he was the one, the puppet billionaire, the great Elon Musk, the savior of mankind. He said, Elon Musk said that with the rise of robots, which he's part of, universal basic income will be necessary in the future. What's universal basic income? The chip, your rationing system, your CBDC. All you got, I guarantee, if I type in universal basic income and CBDC, you'll see enough articles linking. Oh yeah, we could use CBDC to hand out universal income to everybody.
Because then it stops that whole thing, like, you know, in the States, you got the whole thing of like Section 8 where the women will misspend the money or whatever, what have you. Or the CBDC, there's none of that. Programmable money.
It can only spend on this item or in this store or in this allotted time. You know, there's stipulations on the use of this thing now. Now, you know, you can't go outside the system now. You can't, you know, get paid cash in hand or spend your money here. That's not an option for you no more.
Now look at this, man. I told you. Now this is an opinion piece from UCL. the UK economy could be transformed by a central bank digital currency. Yeah. Says the Bank of England's consultation on public digital cash could represent the biggest shift in the monetary system for 200 years. Says Dr. Josh Ryan Collins, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to get down to the point where he talks about universal basic income. Yeah, he is actually a good piece. But they're making a case. They're building their case, man. Hold on, basic income. All right.
But this is the diligence we were speaking about earlier that the other camps don't show.
Yeah, they don't go into it.
You know, because there are things that you can link things together, but these guys don't want to be, remain ignorant. Like these things don't matter.
Well, this
Like these are not part of property. They're just something that's randomly happening.
Embargo. Right, it says there a CBDC. Oh, say relatively during severe economic downturns that we're in right now, central banks could directly credit households with CBDC accounts with new money rather than relying on banks and financial markets passing on the new money created by central banks through quantitative easing programs to the real economy. QE has been criticized for pumping up asset prices and contributing to widening inequality. A CBDC could also considerably reduce the costs of implementing a universal basic income type policy.
Yeah.
Yo, I might have to listen. Let me say this.
There's a mark of the beast system right there, man. Get that in Revelation 13. The image of the beast. The image of the beast, the new system is going to be a digital system, man. And the word system is a trap, a snare. That's the setup that Esau's trying to do for the whole world. As I said, every man on the earth's going to be tried, man.
Yeah.
And all that's left to do really is to have you integrate into that system.
Yeah.
You know, because the infrastructure's around us.
Yeah.
It exists already. These technologies are in the background being worked on. All that's waiting, being waiting for is you to take that impartable, man, to get connected to the 5G network and the Internet of Things.
You're the final piece, basically.
That's it. They'll plug you in, the matrix.
Now, there's another one here called Business for Social Responsibility. So you know it's one of them think tank groups, not NGOs that these men run. And what does it say here about the CBDC? Let me just do the jump straight to the page, please.
You know, IUIC, you got a lot of explaining to do, man.
CBDCs offer new opportunities for social sustainability. Buzzwords. There are opportunities to bank the unbanked. What does the unbanked the unbanked mean? Because of all, both small and great, free and born, rich and poor. Because the unbanked represent the segment of society which is outside of the system. We could bring all those people into the system. Yeah. There are opportunities to bank the unbanked through improved identity and know your customer KYC systems. CBDCs also can help reduce fraud through heightened transparency and
No, so I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's why.
That's right, man. We're here for that, man.
But that's what right now. So back in the day, you didn't really need to have documentation like that to open a bank account, right? That's why you had a load of like quote unquote, not quote unquote, but a whole load of illegals that had bank accounts. Nowadays, because it's mentioned KYC, know your customer, you've got to come in with identification. Say, look, this is my passport, this is my biometrics or whatever, what have you. Can I please have a bank account? Right. So that's how it's all going to link in and be, on that. So that's why, whether it is, a government account that people have or not, because it kind of makes sense because the digital infrastructure is all there.
Well, these two examples, right? China's got their thing set up, right, with the whole social thing, right? But India, I think it was India that recently, then the whole, they revamped the whole identification thing. Yeah. And they got everything on biometrics now. Yeah. It ain't paper documents. We know paper documents is dead anyway. Yeah. We know they want to get rid of all the paperless that, paperless that. They want you on a system that is, that is properly verified.
And on another level, what happens as well is a lot of these systems are not interoperable. So that's why you have problems a lot of the times. So trying to get, like, you might sign up with this company, but to get the information they need, they got to rely on. Well, when you have interoperable systems, everyone can access the databases, so everything just runs smooth. But that's why they got the blockchain and interoperability, which is a buzzword.
Estonia is a use as a case.
You have to make it interoperable.
And then they're sharing information as well. The laws and all that. That's why they always constantly mention shit about sharing information and all that. certain laws,
Yeah.
privacy and all that.
So you can
They're
have
gonna
like
fight-
one ID for everything.
Yeah, Estonia is a case study for that. So in Estonia, everyone has an ID. It's basically MOTB without it being employed, because everyone has an ID which is used for your bank records, your health records. Every single record that you have in Estonia is all linked to this one ID.
unique ID number.
Yeah,
Your ID product.
yeah,
Global ID unit.
yeah.
Anyway, CBDCs also offer the possibility of direct payments of universal basic income, right? And what's happening now is mass unemployment.
Yep.
We're about to see more. What happens during a recession, which they've admitted that's what we're going into, mass unemployment.
Yep.
You got mass unemployment. People need money. They
Yep.
need something. It says
Yeah,
here,
government to the rescue.
Look what happened with
yeah.
COVID.
That's what it is.
COVID, how
That's
many
the same
millions
thing.
of people signed up to?
Yeah, them handouts.
Yeah,
The handouts. That's right.
millions of people signed
That's
up
what
to
they're gonna do with it.
and now
man.
they're saying they're cutting it. So they're
Yeah.
causing a crisis, you know? It says, which could include programmable money like tokens, which would expire if not spent. However, a digital cashless society dependent on central bank systems for all transactions poses challenges to privacy and runs the risk of government overreach and surveillance of citizens. But ain't nobody going to be worried about that when you need the money to eat, bro. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody care. Let me see what else I could find on here.
Desperate times, isn't it? These people are gonna be in desperate times, so they're gonna take desperate actions, man. They're not gonna care about all this privacy shit. Because their privacy being eroded away every year anyway.
They were consenting onto over the TV. They were
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everything, all that was like a test run of the, to set precedents for what they're gonna do. How these people are gonna act.
Oh, here we go.
You know, and so we're gonna see that when this time comes, you're gonna see people flocking to go get it. You know,
I got one here, but it doesn't mention basic income, but it's Tony Blair Institute for Global Change.
Tony Blair,
You should be in prison.
big things like
Well, according to Tony Blair, it says central bank digital currencies can increase financial inclusion. Again, that's another buzzword for he calls it all both small and great, free and born, rich and poor. Financial inclusion or banking the unbanked.
These are the agendas.
Yep.
You know, they're all being pieced together to create this MOTV moment.
We sorted out through the scriptures and we know the prophecy is being fulfilled, man.
Because we know by the prophecy, because you guys act goofy at there with your breakdowns, right?
Yeah.
But you go into the word mark, we know it's an incision into the flesh. We know it's something that's gonna be put in you. You know?
Not anything else.
And we know what the RFID does, and what it can do, right? And how it can be used, right? And it makes sense because it works with these other infrastructures that are being built right now. You know?
2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
So if your eyes are open to what's really going on, you got a spiritual eyesight, and the Lord's suffering with you, you're gonna see that the MOT to be being marketed right now. That is the shit. And you can't just walk in ignorance and just be like, nah, when you haven't studied, you're just following blind leaders and all that. These leaders are Baal, man.
Now,
They're leading in
I just talked about the Tony Blair Institute, yeah? Now, this one gal named Tashka from Tashka Labs on Twitter, this is from September, whatever. It says, crazy thing just happened. I'll be joining the Tony Blair Institute's Tech Policy Fellowship sound like a covenant, to develop public policy recommendations for universal basic income using CBDC network.
They're pushing for it, man. They're touting.
They're already working on it, and then it's gonna come like, oh well, they're already setting it up, and they bring the crisis, and it's like, oh well, we weren't planning on doing this, and we were gonna look into it, but this is the opportunity.
That's what we got right now.
Yep.
The best contingency plan.
Because it's crisis time.
Yeah. Or the Abkeo, man.
You know, that weapon's gonna be like that. Well, food's gonna be like weaponized, man.
Yeah.
Because of the lack of everything, man. You're gonna be dead. People are gonna be desperate, man. People bellies are empty. People become desperate, man. They get savage.
There's a scripture in Ecclesiasticus 38, 39, which talks about the necessities of life.
Oh yeah.
What people will do. What people will do to them within good or bad situations. Man. And people will go to savage mode.
These moral people,
Yeah.
right? The morality's gonna go out the fucking
Savage,
window,
man.
man.
Or turn into savages overnight.
You know. But the thing that keeps us balanced, and is these scriptures, man. Because we're not gonna have to act like that.
We've got the foreknowledge.
That's right. Because we're gonna be trusting upon the Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai to sustain us in that time.
And we know there's an end, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm saying these people, they're gonna be like, oh man, if these things are gonna continue forever,
They don't see
unless
what- they don't know
yeah,
what's happening.
exactly, unless I don't. But we know it's
It's just a phase. It's
Yeah.
a phase.
It's just a judgment for you.
Yeah,
You know what's the hard about me? I'll try to click by the end of the day.
That's
The most high controls the left and the right.
That's it.
So
Got that one?
Listen to
Look
this,
into it.
man, real quick. Sorry. Bitcoin, the Bank of England puts Monzo, PayPal, and ASOS on Digital Pound Forum.
yeah. And once again, Monzo's that's one of them. That's one of them. Ones in central London, man. You know, that's one of them banks that has kind of changed. That was one of the first banks to really change the world in terms of how to bank, because it was all digital one, so there weren't no physical branches.
Damn, I need to bring these out here.
Yeah, God. Yeah, there were no physical branches. Then it what you call it? Then it updated a lot in terms of like how people manage money as well.
Yeah, definitely, and it's all set up, man.
Yeah.
You got the Digital Pound Foundation.
Yeah.
You already know who's on that. Ripple,
Yeah.
Corda, fucking Electronium. You know the guns. They know what's happening, man. But it's gonna come upon the masses like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. But really, they've been planning this for decades.
If I can say, it was kind of like the whole Myrna thing. You know, you can break down the acronym. When it came out, people were like, oh, well, actually, they've been working on this technology. They've been working on this technology for ages, right? But it just so happens to be used at the right time, at the right situation. Yeah.
For such a moment.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I know what we can use for this.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
So,
might
yeah,
help, actually.
yeah.
If you're working this in the back.
Got information come out that patent Rothschilds had it patented in 2015. They had that patent already, so they already knew they was going to bring that.
How?
They was going to bring it on, 2019, 2018, whenever it started.
Yeah.
They was going to introduce it, man, because they already had the contingency plan for it.
Well, you also got the Bill Gates, I can't remember what it
Bill
was now,
Gates Foundation.
606,
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
These
So-
things are, they're plotted and planned for, man.
Mhm.
That's why it talks about the mischievousness. Like, these are always planning shit, plotting.
This is why, man,
yeah,
it upsets me, man. It upsets me that these camps, these other camps, right, are just playing games.
It's ignorant. And
Yeah.
some of them, they sold out. Unfortunately,
that's it,
some of
it
our
goes
own
back to
people
Yeah.
are the worst people to trust because we've got a lot of Judas books among our
Boy,
own
is
people.
there a lot of wolves
Wolves in
in
sheep's
amongst
clothing.
us, man?
Wolves in sheep's clothing.
You
Yeah.
know?
And the Lord warned us of that.
Yeah.
So that's why you can't trust every brother with an Israelite garment. Like, you got to check.
Try the spirit.
You got to watch. You got to score pay with them, man. You got to mark them in the spirit, like in the scriptures,
Yep.
and check what their doctrine's saying, man. And if
Yeah.
if their doctrine's off, then they're off.
You can't make it make sense in the
Yeah.
scriptures, man. No, you shouldn't be dealing with these guys.
So, says Micah 3:9, it says, hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob and the prince of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. They build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire.
Yeah, what's that? That's like hirelings, man, sellouts.
Mm.
You're changing up the doctrine because you can't teach what you're supposed to do the right way. You can't tell the people the truth.
Yeah.
You got to
Got
teach
holes
them.
in it, man.
Yeah, you got
Holes
to
in
teach
your
them smooth things, man. You got to teach them smooth things.
501.
Get them benefits. Yeah, them goodies from your masters, man.
Start
You know?
movie productions and rap.
All that rap videos, rap awards, all of that.
You know?
And who else was there? Who signing all this?
Wrestling. These
There
niggas-
was another recording in it. Whose recording was that? Was that HOI? Talking about the MOTB as well, and they were
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, one of the bucks.
Yeah, the Zavak and them guys. Come on, you guys gotta wake up now, man. See, some of them, Zavak and them. The reason they not getting on board is because Great Millstone said it, and they don't want to give no credence to the apostles. It's like, I mean, if we start teaching that, we'll have to admit that they were right on
He
something.
was wrong.
What's wrong with you, brother? Just get that pride out of the way, man.
Pride goeth before destruction.
Yeah, pride going for destruction, man. Just keep it. The apostles and elders had it right, and it's proven to be right, and it's the Lord's right, really. At the end of the day, man, we didn't make this up. The Lord is the one that brought it, man.
That's why the Lord said, then it shall be known who my chosen. Then we don't know who was teaching the truth and who was lying, man.
And
Yeah.
like we said, man, listen, we're close, man.
Because even like I say, even the scriptures speak about, the prodigal son, someone went down the wrong path,
Straight away.
went astray, but then after a while realizes wrong, came back, humbled himself. No one's gonna mock you if you came back and said, actually,
and the far right side
Exactly. If I was there, exactly. If they went weak, that's it. Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you get delivered, no one ain't gonna. Oh yeah, but remember that you were
Yeah.
caring about all that. Man.
We don't be happy.
We're in the fresh at the end of the day, man. Sometimes we make mistakes,
Being the
innit?
brother, you know.
You know, but the thing is to recognize those mistakes, man, and you know, repent and you know, build upon that, you know, move forward, you know.
Yeah. These guys can't see it like that.
Yeah, because
There's a pride.
They gotta be right.
Yeah, they just think, oh, trying to put yourself above us. But it's,
Hey, we don't get to decide our stations, man. Whether we're above or below it. That's not why we're here. Right?
Yeah.
You know, we're here to preach the truth, man. And whatever God position that we get in the kingdom is what we get in the kingdom, man. Wait until that time, man. That's the point.
the same penny.
Exactly, man.
We just want to
and
get
that, sorry, man, that British company is a big use case for the chip, the wallet more.
Oh yeah, Wallet, yeah, the
Walletmore.
first one.
They were a big
Come out with a-
company,
yeah,
and the
business
owners
thing.
go back to America. Dangerous Things, because Dangerous Things is
Yeah,
from
yeah,
America, and then they set up Walletmore in the
Wallet
UK.
was the first one,
So it's like
Wallet is
the UK is on the cutting edge, man, of this agenda. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm got.
So continuing on, it says, the heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us.
there's deception, man. It's deception because had guys that are saying, you know, that martial law is, you know, gay. Believe in martial law is gay and all that. So they're throwing off the truth of the law. ISUPK was saying.
Oh,
It's funny, Jacob Trouble is
okay?
No,
What? They were saying what?
Jacob Trouble is gay.
Sorry,
You know?
Charlie's
That's
dealing
so
with children.
Deception.
I'm scared.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
my
this-
nigga.
Come on, man. When you're in it, you ain't gonna be saying it's gay. When you're getting caught up in it with martial law at your doorstep, you ain't gonna be saying it's gay. That's these hiding screen. They're trying to throw off the scent of this truth, man. But you can't anyway, man.
Man, ain't no sex okay. How about that?
Yeah, man. You pushing that.
Anyway, wow.
But we're at the end of this thing, innit? If you can't get it, that's on you, man. But you was warned, man. Ezekiel the 3rd chapter tells you, man. Give them warning from me. We're getting the blood off our hands. When all hell breaks loose, we ain't got to worry about whether we told the truth or not. We done the right thing. You guys got to worry about that.
Blood's off our hands.
Blood's off our hands, man.
This is 2 Corinthians 13:8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Yes, to the point.
It wasn't Cesare the one in big ass. What is he? The dude looked like 6'2" or something. Big balls. Imagine big Don like that sat down in a chair and had a man joke him up. And you man are meant to be these hardcore warriors. And what did they say? They said no cowards. I actually hate no cowards, but you were scared of the flu, fam. This thing don't make no sense. Oh man said that. Oh, ISCPK, no cowards. Y'all niggas is cowards. Y'all niggas is scared. And then but the flu man's big. Imagine a big man. They probably sat him down. You know the man gave you them little tiny chairs. Man was there sitting on a little tiny chair, and some woman just came along. Yeah, don't look.
Yeah.
What's going on, bro? It makes no sense, bro. These sold out, man. They were promoting that to the people, and we were like, nah.
Sorry, about his enterprise now and all this business. You know, I mean, their focus is not on the truth, man. They're doing something completely different now, man. You know, Johanna knows he's doing what he's doing for a long time. He's been doing it, man. You know, he ain't there for his flock. He's there for himself.
How can you encourage? So what happens if you get someone in your congregation to take it and they get bossed up now?
Yeah.
That's on your conscience because you told them to take it, man.
Yeah.
That's on your conscience now. They get palsy and all that stuff. What are you gonna say? Oh, it's judgment. That is you, nigga. You're gonna use you as well. You're gonna get judged too. Because you put that on them, man. How you gonna tell your people to take some experimental thing from Esau?
Yeah.
But then the white man's the devil.
Even
Jim Jones type shit, man.
Even the Edomites don't have trust.
Jim Jones type shit, man. I think it's poison.
But anyway, the mark of the beast is the MOTV is coming, man. It's coming and it's here. And like we said already, they're gonna come with we already see the scares. Basically, they're building up the fear. Oh, the pound drop. Oh, look, you know, and they're giving you the little feints and all that stuff. Till eventually they're just gonna come with the big one, and it's gonna be like, whoa, what's happening? They'll be like, oh, the market, the pound, oh, don't worry, okay, we're gonna have to just Luckily, we got this new system, and everyone's gonna have to register, and there'll be all chaos, and they're gonna let the chaos bubble. Don't let it bubble up and shit go down. Because the more fear and more crisis there is, the more people will just be like, "Yeah, sign me up here," whatever you might say.
That's why the people here in England took the juice. Because for six, they had you locked down for 6 months. You couldn't. You remember January 2021 until April, May, June 2021, right? Right. They had people locked in their yards, couldn't do shit, right, for a whole 6 months. Because I met a lot of people do fear mongering. I met a lot of people who before that were like, "Nah, I ain't taking the juice. I ain't gonna take. I ain't gonna take." After that, after that, they was like, "Look, man, I just need to leave. I just need to go on holiday, man." Right? Witchcraft. Yeah.
He's going to do it again with the MOT for B. He's going to chant people to think that the only solution is you to take this shit. Yeah.
This is the salvation we need.
You've got to take this shit, and two-thirds don't end up taking it and being destroyed. Yeah.
But what they push heavily as well is the financial crisis is fraud as well, which is another thing that they're gonna another angle by which that whole biometrics thing covers it. Because that's what even right now in the mainstream banks they're pushing it like if you open your account and operate through biometrics, then there's no risk of fraud because unless the person actually gets your fingerprints and all the rest of it, you know what I mean? Facial recognition,
Push your face there.
But that's why the biometrics is part of the system, because what they can do is it can be two-factor. So you can have your Chiz app, your Chiz app will have all your thing, but what your Chiz app will also have on it is your biometric data. So what a system they can have is obviously for normal everyday things, you could just go to the shop and do your Chiz app and they'll just trust it, But what they can do is say like you go to do something important, like when you go to, and a proof of that is when you go travel. When you go travel on, I don't know if you've probably ever been on a Eurostar, but when you go use Eurostar, it's all electronic. So your passport has a chip on it, but the passport has your biometrics on there. So what happens when you put the passport on there? There's an actual camera that you need to look in to also check your biometrics to make sure you are who that says in that passport. So it's the same thing. Take away the passport and put your Chiz up there. It works on the same system. So you put the chip on, it reads your chip. Okay, these are the biometrics. Whoever's using this chip is supposed to also have these biometrics. So it's a two-factor security process.
That's the passkey too. That's more convenient. And it's also recently, man. You got your debit card, contactless cards, right? And sometimes you can't tap it right now. You tap it and it'll ask you to put the PIN number in. That's kind of it's like a second factor, to make sure it's you that owns the card or whatever. But that ain't gonna be the issue once it's in you. Because that's like almost verifying that it belongs to you anyway.
Well, there's a movie, right? It's called Imposter. Hell of a movie. Mikael Pfeiffer's in there. It's a sick film. I'm not gonna do no spoilers because it's a hell of a twist at the end. But if you watch that film, they got the chip. And in that film, when you got the chip, right, because they're on the crisis, alien invasion, blah, 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 blah. So they need to know who everyone is. So you got the chip and the guy took the chip out and he's walking around with the chip in his pocket, right? And what he does is, as he's going, he puts the chip, I can't remember, he puts the chip in something. And what it does is, as you're walking through the city, there's monitors that pick up your chip and then flashes your face up on the screen with your everything on there. So it's kind of like that secondary two-factor as you're walking is checking you. Okay, this person is in the vicinity.
With the smart cameras in the cities and
smart cameras, right?
That's happening here.
So as you're walking, there's devices that can pick up your chip, but they can also monitor your biometrics with the camera. So if they you say you're rolling around with someone else's chip somehow, it's not gonna match. Because you've got someone else's chip, but the information for this chip is a particular biometric that don't match you. Boom, you're flagging up and the drones are moving on to you. It's beeping.
So on the Minority Report when he's walking
He's
walking on them.
Personalized advertisement.
Picking them up and
that went free.
Same thing with what was it thing, man? With the whole thing with the CV, one of the things that they worked on first in China was to be able to do your face metrics with a mask on. So that now the latest iOS or whatever you can do Face ID with a mask. So because they basically just upgraded the system where it's like they only need certain bits and then they can do it on partial information as well.
AI deep learning, isn't it?
Upgrades.
Yeah, we in that time, man. We have the technology, so it's what it is, man.
Says Daniel 8:25. This policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
Right, and again to qualify that, that happened with Antiochus, but in the spirit, it's kind of happening all over again. You know, Esau's pushing madness. He's pushing, you know, all this madness.
They say history repeats itself, right?
So the weekend is here. We'll see what happens on Monday
Yeah.
when the markets open up. Hey,
Might be
the
another
markets have
podcast.
been bleeding
Yeah,
heavy as well lately.
Asia opens up first, so you'll be able to see it from the night what's gonna happen.
They said there was one country that's got up in 20 days.
It's true. And then it cascades.
Yep.
And then, you know, the UK market might hold up.
They said that there's going to be a 20-day bank run, man.
No, bank holiday in
Bank holiday,
India.
20 days. And it's, you know,
But India is with the CBDC thing as well. They've already, they're all doing it.
Because I forgot they've got a different payment UPI. I need to look in, but I remember.
shit, though, probably.
Yeah, I was kind of looking into in the way that their system works, and it's completely. It's almost like Apple Pay. In its. I'll need to look into a little bit more, but UPI, you know, look into that. You know, it's a completely different system that they got over there in India.
Oh, yeah, this thing is the reverse system. Because everyone's on strike as well, trying to strike, asking for more pay, thinking that's going to fix the situation.
Yeah.
But that only has the problem.
Yep. Then all of these people who are going to become homeless. I think they said the people on 200,000 people on per quarters. They're like on the there's a fixed rate one and there's a variable one. Basically, 300,000 people are going to be through every quarter in terms of their mortgage. That's the point I'm trying to make. You know, so where those people gonna go? Where they gonna move to?
It's a crisis. So they don't have to cover the
But
solution.
even the rents are going up. So it's not like they just go into rent.
Going up, dog.
Yeah.
This is shit you can't ignore, man.
Man are just gonna have to say fuck the rent
Yeah,
and squat. Like,
That's it.
It's turned savage,
all the
man.
brothers, they can't move all of them.
Start spotting and all that.
Yeah.
Don't
But-
get savage.
They're gonna have to clear us out like werewolves in there.
Which goes to show you never to trust thine enemy, because when he was pushing out all of these policies, 5% mortgage, down payments, and this, that, and that, he knew what he wanted to do, right? Now you've got, and the thing is as well, when I was looking into it, you can only use those types of mortgages on certain types of properties, i.e. new builds. So you see new builds.
Already.
Yeah. You know, so you have basically a situation now where banks will effectively own an entire tower block, and they've been doing that in America, where you have your large banks straight up buying properties. So you can already see how this whole thing is going. You own nothing, nada, zilch,
Just
zero,
rent life.
rent life, subscription.
Rent, yeah.
Everyone's just buy camper vans, man.
Yeah.
Just living
Yeah,
living the
subscribe to it. Because that's how they sell cars nowadays. Like a lot of Teslas nowadays are sold in subscription. They're not sold to you, it's a subscription.
Oh, you mean Tesla, yeah? The Anyway, this guy close up. Yeah, man. So say call hello, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, double honors to the apostles, the elders, great millstone. Shalom to you brothers out there, you know, on the highways and the byways teaching.
Wow, man.
About other one.